Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Auto Talk Podcast, episode number 13 in the books.
Let's go.
As always, thank you to Ryan Cobb, our major sponsor, Octane Apparel. As you can see here, the latest addition to the Octane team, little Peyton Messon, little P, wearing a one-off custom Octane onesie. Bloody made for it there you go. Hey, she's not going to ask too many questions.
Just got a hand up.
Yeah,
Let's go, Dad.
she normally does. But yeah, we thought we'd introduce her to the channel. And you can't buy these, but we'll show her off.
Not for sale.
Yeah, not for sale.
She's not one.
Hey, there you go. A little pink there in the background.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Thanks for Ryan Cobb for making this one too.
Hey, legend.
Yeah, okay. So Mum will come and grab her now. Thanks, Darren. That's enough camera time.
Bye.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously thanks Ryan Cobb and his team, Amanda and the whole Octane team for jumping on board and sponsoring us as they always do. And this one especially sponsored by Soham Customs. Luke donated this block you can see in front of us, the coffee table. Luke and Soham, they import all LS blocks, short, long, whatever you need, LS style. He's got it in Brisbane, local guy. This block is broken, which is why we have it as a coffee table. He doesn't bring all broken ones in, obviously, but some of them do rock up sort of unchecked, and yeah, this one's got a crack in it, so that's why we've got it. He's donated that to us, which we're very thankful for.
Nice little coffee table.
Yeah. So Soham, I just bought the block off him, short block for Pinckney's new build. Kieran's 4.8 that he had when he left Australia, that was from Soham.
The OG 4.8.
The OG 4.8. Clickbait is another one that Soham supplied the block for.
6 litre iron block, yep.
Yep, and all Winginit Motorsports engines, if you get Winginit to supply the block, we all go through Soham. So yeah, Luke supplies everyone with LS.
Rowan 6 litre came from Soham.
Yep, yeah.
You just bought one.
I just brought one, yeah. So everything that Winginit Motorsports builds, if we supply the block, Damo goes through Luke at Soham and yeah, gets them all by him. So yeah, we're very grateful for Luke for chucking a block on the podcast that we can use as a coffee table.
Yeah. And just quickly, if you are wanting to, if you're like, yeah, like I need an iron block, whatever, go to Soham Custom and Supply on Facebook, custom with a K, and there's a pin post there. It's got all the price list.
Yes.
There on it.
Definitely affordable. Like what I paid for my block, to me it was like $2,000 for a short block.
Yep.
LC9. I didn't need heads, so I opted out of the heads because I already got some. But I think heads are like an extra $1,800. He pulls them off like the shelf on the pallet, sits there, turns them over for you, so you can see like there's no knocking or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luke's definitely like very good to go through. He does everything he can. It's like basically first in, best dressed. So while you're there, you get the best one that's there, which is what I just grabbed. Send it down to Damo, Winginit Motorsports, and yeah, we pulled it apart and off we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitly a guide to go through if you need LS.
We sound like salesmen,
And-
but genuinely,
yeah.
he's got a sick business set up there, and the blocks that come through, the ones that you can buy, quality. Like you said,
100%.
this one's cracked because he goes through them before he sells them, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's getting them as junker motors from the US. And if it's broken, obviously it's not for sale, but it's perfect for stuff like this.
Yeah, the guys that he said to us, like guys that build turbo manifolds and all that sort of stuff off them, or if you just want one to sit in between your rails while yours is getting built, you want to do some fitting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can get these junker ones for like a carton of beer or $100. I'm sure he'll prefer the carton of beer.
Yeah.
Like most of us.
He's worth more money.
So yeah, he does, when he gets to this point, he does look at them and make sure they do turn over, like they do sort of wind over, there's nothing, but he does check them, and he knew this one was cracked. Well, he found out it was cracked, so he stuck it to the side so it wouldn't be sold 21. So yeah, definitely grateful for that, like inspection, and then yeah, obviously these broken ones are good for coffee tables or anything you want, so definitely.
1 second, we need to check something.
Oh no.
Yeah, it wasn't recording.
So, also would like to introduce one of our regular hosts, but now he's the guest, Kieran Barber over there.
G'day.
So we thought we'd do a full America rundown, which we're going to get into, like how he started, what the whole trip was about. He's going back again shortly. like while we're filming now, he's going back tomorrow. So by the time you guys see this, he'll already be over there.
Yep.
So if you jump on his socials, you'll definitely see some stuff while he's over there. By the time this one drops, hopefully next week, as we're filming now, Kieran will be over there doing his thing. So definitely follow Cuddles Burnouts on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll see Kieran's stuff. So yeah,
YouTube.
I know you're always a host, but thanks for jumping on as a guest. And
Yeah, no, I'm keen. It's like it's been a little while, but I feel like it's good to sit down and actually go through it.
time to tell your story. And yeah, and we've also got Andrew from Classic Lacquer, who paints all of our cars. He's jumped on to be a guest host as well. So
Yeah.
and then obviously myself and Ryan.
The
yeah,
usuals.
I'm sure Jas will probably walk in from time to time if the door stays
gee.
open. So, but yeah, so that's us. That's the sponsorships and yeah, the coffee table. So yeah, thank you very much for Ryan Cobb and Soham.
Hell yeah.
And Octane Apparel. Sorry.
They're not going to lie, we filmed like a good 5 minutes there, and we didn't have the microphones turned.
Yeah, but you know, that's
So
being
they were
honest,
really good.
That's what happened.
We,
Yep.
we were all pretty much just we were all rating the iron blocks and the
Yeah.
engines from Soham, and
Hell
we
yeah.
pretty much gave him a massive shout out, but we forgot to turn the bloody microphones on.
Yeah. So you will. The sound might be a little bit different.
Soham Custom and Supply on Facebook or Instagram. Custom with a K. There will be a price sheet on a pinned post on the Facebook group. So if you are interested in getting yourself an iron block, Rizzy base, but also freight everywhere in Australia, and he's
Legends.
got like a full range from 4.8 to 6.2, like imports LS3s as well. There's a price list there. Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all got
LC9 blocks, good for boost.
Yep.
All that sort of fun stuff.
Mate, I want one now.
Yeah.
An LC9. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Party.
they are. Yeah, and you'll see Kieran put up a video too the other day of the difference between like an LC9 block
Yeah.
to like other ones, like with the water jackets and everything. Like
Spend
the
the day there.
Siamese twin board. Like yeah, everything's
Yeah, go and watch the video. You'll know what Craig's talking about. But we were there for the day, and Craig was there also at the same time buying a motor, which helped the video. It's on
Yeah.
the Cuddles Burnouts YouTube video, YouTube channel, and yeah, we go right through it. So if you want to see, the process, you want to know a bit more about it, it's on there. So.
yeah. I'm sure we can chuck a link in.
Yep.
Link in
Somewhere around
where
there.
he's pointing somewhere. I was going to say down below, but obviously
Yeah.
up that way maybe.
Link in
Yeah.
description.
Yeah, link in description.
Subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Yeah.
So I guess we'll move into the Cuddles America trip, which is why we're all here, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know, like how it all come about, where it all started. So I think the first question definitely is, where did the trip idea come from for you? Like, where did that whole idea, or the possibility of you sending Cuddles to America, like where did that all start? How'd you get to where you are now?
Well, it first started. We were right here in this room interviewing Kyle Douglas, who owns Luxifer, and we were interviewing him about his US trip. He flew the car over. It was a big thing. Like, obviously he's killing it now, and he really sort of paved the way, I think, for all of us going over there, 100%.
Definitely.
And after the podcast, he's like, "Oh, like you guys thinking of bringing your cars over?" And I was like, "Oh no, like fuck, man, I don't have the cash for that. Like, no way. There's no possible way." Although I was thinking, like, in my head, I was like, "Man, that would be cool. That'd be super cool," And he's like, "Well, he actually offered." Kyle, don't get mad if I'm not supposed to say this, but he did offer. He's like, "Well, you can come and live in my RV. We just figure out the transportation to and from the events. Like, we'll just figure it out, man. Like, just
Oh man.
give me the money to get it over there, and then a bit of cash for transport and whatever else, and then you can just live with me. Like, it'll reduce your cost." And then anyway, we left here that night, and it was just like, oh yeah, whatever. But honestly, if you want to know the very start of when this whole thing, the genesis of it, it was then.
Yeah, I
It was
remember. Yeah, I remember after that night, like we finished filming with Kyle, we all sat at the front. We had like a beer, and he was like, "Boys, like it can be done. Let's talk." And then
He said a few things. He's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
He's like, "You got a missus? You got a house?
Have you ever been
No.
overseas
You ever
before?
been like,
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, you want to go?"
I could see the cogs start turning in your brain, being like, "Oh, I could do this." And it's like, yeah, you can.
Well, I
Like,
was at the
if
start.
any
I
one
was
of us were going
very
to do it,
skeptical. I was like,
yeah.
But
the seed was definitely planted to be like, I can make
he is
this.
100% the reason.
The reason, yeah.
He is 100% the reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I guess it's something you think about. You might dream about. You might think, oh, like that'd be amazing. But for me, anyway, I needed help. I needed a bit of like a push.
Mm-hmm.
And he was there. Like I remember messaging him a couple of weeks later, and I was like, man, what's the plan over there? Like, because I was thinking about it. And he's like, look, man, look, either you want to do it or you don't. But I'm not going to promise you anything. There's nothing promised. It's just, if you want to...
The opportunity.
It's like exposure and stuff, like burnouts are just starting in America, blah, 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 But he wasn't, like, promising me the world. It was just like, you should come do it. And then I remember talking to you. I was talking to you, Shifty, and a bunch of guys, and I was like, I'll just set my location, because I have a cousin who lives in Arizona. Shout out to Jay, who we'll get to later. He helped me out a lot as well with the trip, because when I flew over there, I stayed at Jay's place for a couple of weeks while I got everything sorted. But anyway, I was like, look, I'll just set my location to Arizona. He lives in Phoenix. Facebook Marketplace, and I'll just look at like what's available. Like, is there trailers? Is there F-250s?
Yeah.
Like, how much are they?
Yeah.
Like, what are we looking at? Ballpark. If I wanted to go in there and just hypothetically do my own thing, because I was thinking about, I was like, I don't really want to live with Kyle. You know what I mean? It probably sounds bad.
Test the friendship out a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, Dude.
But I mean,
and he was so gracious for offering. But
that's fantastic.
Do you really want me living with him like, the whole time? He's off doing his own stuff.
Yeah.
And you guys know me. Like, I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to be tied to. I'm not saying Kyle's not doing cool stuff, but like, if hypothetically,
you want to go
to another
somewhere
show,
else.
it's like, I want to be able to go do that.
You want that freedom to do you.
100%. Yeah.
You don't you go all that way. You don't have to do what somebody else is doing.
Yeah. So it's not like I'm not grateful for the offer, because it literally got the gears turning.
Yeah.
And then I looked at Facebook Marketplace, and it's like an F-250 with a fifth wheel attachment, like it's an old one. It's like a 06, 07 model, was like $8,000.
Yeah.
Like US. So
what's that, like 12 13 here?
Australian?
Yeah.
Far
like Australian
out.
rate, which is nothing like in that scheme.
You
Not
get one of those
over
in
here.
Australia,
Oh my God.
it's 50 plus.
Yeah.
The same car.
For an old one. Yeah.
For an old one.
Even an old one, yeah.
For an 07
Yeah.
model. They're expensive.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. All right, cool. All right, so gooseneck attachment, sweet. All right, I can live in that thing. We get a bit of a trailer going. I looked at a trailer. I remember sending you a few trailers.
Yeah.
And there was one there for like $12,000 US.
Yeah.
So then I was like, well, how am I going to fund all this stuff? Because I don't have like $50,000 sitting in the bank, right? But I did have a Hilux, and I did have a bunch of like old parts and whatnot laying around. And I was like, this is where I was really like, man, what am I actually doing with my life? Like, because I was like, I really would like to buy a house at some point, but I really want to go do this thing. And I've got a few assets that I could flog off to fund this trip, and just work my ass off.
Just put it all in.
Put all the OT, get the money and plan it out. And ended up selling everything I own. And I hit up Kyle and I was like, what would you do? Would you go the F-250 with the big gooseneck and just fit it out? Or would you get the RV? He's like, get the RV. I was like, righto. So I looked up, found that RV, the one that I've got now. $8,000.
The bounder.
The bounder. Got a kangaroo on the side.
The Barber bounder. Yeah, the kangaroo's like, obviously you had to buy it because of the kangaroo.
yeah.
Dude, it
It was
just
a
fits
sign.
so
It fits,
well.
Yeah.
It was a sign.
Yeah, it was a sign. A bad one.
Actually,
A bad
I was
one.
going to say, actually, probably not the best sign.
And it's massive. Like, the
Considering the
motorhome
dramas.
is huge.
Yeah.
And like, man, for those of you like followed along with the journey, like, we had a lot of dramas and that with it because it was a 93 model.
Yeah.
Anyway, so...
But that,
anyway.
that adds to the story, that adds to the experience, and adds to all
Mate,
of it,
at the time, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh.
I hated it. And now, sitting here right now, I'm like, I can't wait to go back. Like,
Yeah.
And now
Becomes-
most of the shit that's broken is
Yeah.
fixed, so you're laughing.
Most of it.
Yeah.
We'll
Touch
get
wood.
we'll get to all the juicy stuff
Yeah.
in a bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like...
So it all started with,
Yeah, it all started with literally with Kyle just being like, he's like, look, man. I'm like, look, it's an expensive thing. But I remember him saying, he's like, okay, paint the worst picture possible. Book your flights, go over there. It all goes to shit, right? Like, and you've got to sell up and come home, and the whole thing's a massive failure. Everything goes wrong, and it's physically impossible for you to keep going, and you've got to just call it quits and you just come home. He's like, you can rebuild, one, but two, will you regret it? Will you regret having a crack? And that like stuck with me. I was like, will I regret it? I'm thinking when I'm 65 years old, sitting in a pub having a few beers, it's like looking
I
back
could have
on
done
the
this.
story.
Yep, fucking oath.
Or no, I bitched out. I had I had a few things I could sell. I could have made it work, but I didn't because I was too scared.
Yeah.
Here for a short
like-
time, not a
So
long time.
yeah,
100%.
you decided to chase a dream or your dreams, and go for it. Which not everyone does, and like, I understand completely. Like, it's not everyone can do it, and not everyone will do it. But you're in the
100%,
position.
yeah.
You're in the position that you didn't really have anything tying you here.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, if I'm going to do it, it's now or it's never.
Yeah.
Like, if you stayed here and you bought a house and like your life progressed, it's like, well, that American trip just went out the window kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or you do it now while you can. You got nothing tying you here. Why not do it now? Come back, and then you can start a life from there, like after that fact, with all these memories
Yeah.
and all these friends and like all these things that you've built on top of that. It's like, you are like in the perfect position, I think personally, to do it. Like, single guy, could sell the Hilux and like the few other things you have, get a bit of cash behind you, a bunch of mates supporting you, and like other businesses who jump on
heaps.
board.
We'll get to that. There's so much like.
But you, like,
so much help.
to me personally, I think you're in like the best position to be like, I can do this. And like you said, and like Kyle said to you, if it doesn't work, cool, come back and just start again.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. You had a crack, you chased a dream. You know, if it all went belly up, I'll come back and I'll just start again.
Rebuild. I know myself.
which is
Like,
fine,
I know I can work. I know I can
Yeah.
rebuild.
I know your
was like,
motivation too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I never
Yeah,
doubted you in a second.
Yeah.
You're giving up everything, selling everything, but straight away, like, me and Mitch were just like
Yeah.
through and
Why
through
wouldn't
back,
you?
and you're like, we knew.
Yeah.
We knew he'd do well.
Yeah,
we knew it.
100%.
Like, no matter what dramas came up. Like,
Yeah.
Just
I
the
think everyone-
motivation.
I think everyone knew, like, you'd be fine. And if you weren't fine, it's like, there's a room at, I got a spare room. Like, everyone's got a spare room you can live in, you can start again. Like, I gave you the I-30 for a while when you came back. Even though, like, the first trip was successful, as chaos as it was.
Sort of. Yeah.
Sort of. But, like, when you did come back, it was like, I remember my wife being like, what's he going to do for a car? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think he's thought that far ahead.
Yeah, no.
And I was like, we've got an I-30 sitting here that I just use for work, but I was on time off. I had like 3 months off when we had our baby. So I was like, just take the I-30, drive that around. Like, why not? And then Andrew gave you the workie when I went back to work and needed the I-30 back. So, like, you can always figure shit out. Like,
always.
Australians
There's
are
always
good.
someone,
I think, not just Australians, but like a lot of people are good at just adapting. We'll figure shit out on the run. Like, you don't have to have the set plan of like, this needs to be this needs to be that. So we'll figure shit out.
Which,
man.
what
Like,
you just said, honestly,
Winging it.
scares the shit
winging it,
out of me.
Exactly. No pun intended, but just
Yeah,
winging it
yeah,
and
definitely.
figuring shit out. But yeah, I understand it's very scary. 'Cause it's your life that you're playing poker with.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to have a crack, not that like, and yeah, a lot of people aren't willing to have the crack, but you are, man, all the power to you. Like, why not?
Bloody oath.
I'll get like a little bit deep.
Go real deep. I remember. Yeah, let's go real deep.
Bit of
Right,
eye
we're
contact
going-
there.
Solid eye contact too.
We're going real deep.
It's deep.
Yeah.
It's deep. As deep as you can
We're
handle.
going deeper.
Grab the lube. we're
Come
going.
on. All right. So, with what you were saying about how it's scary, right? And, it's Instagram's always listening, and I'm always flicking Instagram reels all the time. So I'm getting Instagram reels, and it's like some super successful dude just talking about life, essentially. And he was like, well, I remember one stuck with me, and it was like, you gotta, at some point, you'll reach a point in your life. You're trying to do something, you're trying to reach something, you've got goals. You'll reach a point where you have to jump off the cliff, like proverbially. and that for me, that first point, there's actually been multiple points where I've had to jump off the cliff, so to speak, right? But that first thing with selling everything and just committing to this trip, booking the shipping for the car and just fully pulling the trigger on it was like jumping off the cliff. The guy's like, jump off the cliff and just trust yourself, trust in the universe, right? Which some of you are probably thinking like, Kieran, you woo-woo friggin' artist, like,
No,
shut up,
no.
bro. But genuinely, man, if you have got a goal that you want to reach and you're willing to go all in, the universe will reward you for that in different ways. Like, you might not see it. It might not be clear to you at the time. You just got to have that trust, have that faith that pulling the trigger on something you really want to do and just pulling all the stops out and going balls to the wall, the universe will, it just figures it out. Like, there's no other way to explain it than it will figure it out. So if any of you are listening and there's something that you want to go and do, like, I'm now that guy being like, jump off the cliff, man. Like, have all your stuff sorted. Don't be completely reckless with it. But you'll know in the back of your mind what you can get away with. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can
Definitely.
jump off the cliff without being like reckless.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like you can definitely 100% have all your ducks in a row and then go, all right, I really want to try this.
Yeah.
Or have your day job that you're doing and work
a-
on like a part-time thing or hobby or whatever that you're building in the background.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
And then eventually it gets to a point where you're like, all right, I need to go. And either I go now or I don't go at all. And this just remains being a hobby or it becomes my life.
Yeah.
That's how like a lot of the big people get businesses, and at some point they've all done it. They've all gone, this is comfortable. I've got this whole safety network thing. I'm earning money.
Yep.
Everything's good. It's not my passion. I don't really want to do it for the rest of my life. I want to do that, but this is like keeping me comfortable.
Yeah.
It's it's putting food on the table. It's a roof over my children's head,
Yeah.
or whatever case may be. But I really want to go and do that with my life. And like you said before, I don't want to get to an old age of like 65, whatever. Life's gone past, and I've been good, but I really, really wanted to do that. It's like that's where nobody wants to get to, and it's like just if you have the opportunity and you are set up and ready to do it, take that chance.
And you're chilling right now at 65 years old. Let's say you're like,
I thought you got him 65
so
now. I was like, he looks 65.
oh, he does look it, but he's been through a lot of stress.
It's been a rough.
Oh,
first
he'll
road.
he'll get into how many problems he's had with the RV, so we know.
Dude.
But I mean, you'll be chilling back right now at 65 years old, going, "Fuck yeah, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
I'm glad I threw everything.
A
I'm glad I
1,000,000%.
sold everything. Like, you legitimately sold everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you sold everything you own
Yeah.
to go over there and just throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just
Which is
throw it all
commendable
in.
and 100%.
Like, it's great.
Yeah, we're all proud of you for fucking having a crack for sure.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, and like I remember when Kyle was here, a few of us were like, fuck, I've got like other shit. Like trying to start a family and stuff. So I was like, I can't do it right now. Not saying it's not in the loop, but I was like, at that time, I was like, I can't do it right now. But I'm like, I'm ready to pull that trigger at some point,
Yeah.
which I am now. It's 2025. Yeah, things are going to happen. But at that time, I was like, couldn't do it right now, but it's not like it's not a never thing. It's
I'm thinking about buying one of
it's a
these
thing
blocks and transferring my car over to a.
You won't.
Yeah.
You're scared. I heard you're scared to do it.
I'm scared because
can
Ryan
make the
will
conversion.
look at Ryan's face right now. You get rid of your V6 and go V8. Yeah, Ryan's not my friend anymore.
He is.
You do that,
He
you're
hasn't
dead,
even
mate.
given the V6 a chance.
Ryan's like,
Dude,
take
it's
the
caught
V6
on
over
fire.
there. So, okay, so you made the decision. You're going. You're selling everything. Everything's sold. How do you get Cuddles ready for the container? Or like, who helped you get it ready? I know like there's a lot of stuff in the background to be like, there's a lot of like paperwork and everything like to fill out. Like,
Yeah.
I know there's guys that helped you sort all the stuff out in the background. I know you had to do a couple of things yourself, but then like you obviously went to some people and like, this car needs to get over there. How do I do it? So who are they? Like, how do they help you?
So my car like is basically a bag of shit. Like it's not the most well-built car you've ever seen, like 100%. If you've ever seen it up close, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It does its job, it's purposeful, and it is getting better, but
the thing was, it had things wrong with it that I was always just pushing to the side and just, I'll figure that out later. So all that sort of stuff, I actually wrote that all down on a list, and I was like, these are the things that I really want to tick off the list. One of them was rebuilding the front brakes. It needed a tail shaft loop, so I went round to Shifty's place, and he's got this tail shaft loop in Shifty, and I just saw that, and I was like, man, I want that. And then I was like, well, the thing's got to get clean. So after I brought it down to Classic Lacquer. So Mitch and Andrew
On the Gold Coast.
Classic Lacquer, spray painting. They've sprayed yours. They did some spray work on mine. They've sprayed yours. And also
Winging it. Yep.
And there's, more to come. There's heaps of work lined up. Happy days. But they've got a hoist there and a lot of workshop space. So they're like, man, just bring it down. You can work on it here, essentially. So I was like, yep, sweet. Did that, brought it down. Remember that first day, and then you helped me film that, release video.
Yeah,
Had some stuff lined up. I was like, hey guys, my name's Kieran. Cuddles Burnouts. Here's the car. It's got a 4.8. We're going to the States, and there was a few just random events that I looked up, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that one in Pennsylvania, and then this one over here in Wisconsin, and then there's one down here in friggin' wherever. I was like, yeah,
Go to Florida.
we'll be able to. Yeah, no worries. I didn't even plan it out or nothing. But I announced that, and after that, there was a whole lot of people who'd messaged me offering advice and help because they knew I was committed. And so one of them, oh no, I'm embarrassed because I've forgotten his name now, but he's got a VS with the Barra in it. What's his name? Anyway.
Old mate
with the VS.
Old mate.
Paddy Walsh.
Oh.
Pat?
Yeah, was it
Walsh.
Walshy?
Yeah.
With
Pat
Fishy.
Walsh.
Pat Walsh.
Yeah.
Fishy. Boom.
Oh,
That's him.
no shit.
Sorry,
Oh.
Pat.
Pat's gonna be like, what
Pat's
the
going to
fuck?
be like, yeah, mate.
Yeah, mate.
So Pat messaged me. He's like, look, mate, I've got a mate who's involved in the importation of cars into Australia. So I know it's not the US, but he's involved with them coming back. And there is a checklist they go through, biosecurity being the biggest one, right? So when you import a car, they're going to make sure there's no live animals, there's no dirt and dust and stuff like that. He's like,
Anything, pretty
yeah.
much.
you really got to be anal with the cleaning.
Yeah.
He's like, all the carpets got to be vacuumed. There can't be dirt or dust on anything. Clean all the glass, all the undercarriage and shit. So perfect
Spider
place
webs
to-
as
yeah.
well, everything. He was there, very...
Which for a skid
Here's your
car
list.
is like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of shit in there.
Oh my god,
and,
yeah.
And my skid car, who
Yeah.
it sees zero maintenance.
Yeah.
I don't clean.
Especially on a hoist too. On a hoist, you get it up there and go,
Yeah.
oh,
Well, you
man.
see in the back
Yeah.
of it,
Yeah.
all the guards are all fucked.
Yeah.
They're all
They're all, yeah.
caved in and that. And these boys, you're going to hear me say this a lot because it's genuinely true, but I couldn't have done it without them. Is when the car got there, they were finding stuff. I had my list, but they were like, man, we'll do this. They reinforced the tubs, done a battery tray. Mitch done the tail shaft loop. We got it all sorted.
Yeah.
So the car basically lived from when I decided to do the trip to when it got on your tow truck to go to Eagle Farm to go and get loaded into a container. It stayed at your place. So it was there for weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was sort of good because
months.
then we could tinker every afternoon and go, I'll grab the vacuum and do this little bit, I'll do this little bit. Because at one stage, we didn't want you to rock up to America and be like, they're like, okay, we're going to hold it and put it in pest control or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's another 12,000.
We cleaned it 4 times. We cleaned it top to bottom, inside and out, probably 4 times. It took a whole day.
I remember.
It was,
I remember we had it I remember being there vacuuming the back seats and everything, and it was on Andrew's hoist. It had Mickey Mouse, and then Ryan Cobb's like, "Oh, are you coming to Fridays?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'll bring it there and I'll put it on show." And,
what the
people can look at
yeah.
it, and we'd clean the inside of the tub.
Oh,
Yeah.
Everything got cleaned, and this thing had been there at your shop for weeks. And I was like, "Yeah, basically ready to go on.
I forgot about that. You
in the container.
I've forgotten about that.
And then Kieran's like, yeah, Ryan, I'll bring it to your Friday's event and I'll have it on show. It'll be all sweet. We get to the event, you fire it up, and then you're lapping, and then I'm in the car and your power skidding. I was like, fucking. There goes all the work.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking the same.
Rubber and everything that everyone. Because you're like, I remember you saying, like, if I take it to an event and, like, we park it there, there shouldn't be too much dust or, like, dirt going on the tyres and everything. Like, because you're like, every rock in the tread.
Yeah,
you had to get.
That's what he sent. He sent me
every rock.
And then you're doing demo skids on the main straight. I'm like, there goes all of the work is gone. And then it's like, all right. After the event, I can go back to Classic Lacquer. We can just start all over again. You're like, yeah, fucking cool, dude. now you've got a shorter time frame to do all the work that just got done. And I was like, why the fuck was I there at 6 p.m. vacuuming the back seats?
When the next day he
for no
blew
reason.
tires on the main street.
But it's like fucking. Then he said, I just won't pop tires. You're like, okay, that's a great fucking choice.
Yeah, Kieran
because
doesn't
that helps
have
everyone.
that.
Yeah,
he needs.
But anyway,
like a
so you did that, and then you went back to
control.
Classic Lacquer, and we started to clean up all over again.
Yep.
But yeah,
Thanks, boys.
No, but it was sick. Like, and that like build up the sort of before trip, like.
Oh yeah,
no,
like it was cool. Like everyone was there, everyone was hooking in, everyone was cleaning the car. Like it was great times. Like it was good. I just remember getting to a point where everyone's like, "She's ready to go," and you're like,
I still was.
may want to turn.
I still was like, Kieran's fucking taking his car to what?
Yeah. And then I won't pop tires.
When I brought it back,
go
we
again.
got it up on the hoist again. I'm like, oh, the diff's like looking a bit weird. And then I found the lower control arm on the rear.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was like
actually
folded
like
up. There should be photos on the Cuddles Burnout's Facebook page.
It was bad.
You know this where it sits in
We
the
could put
spring
them in,
perch?
Yeah. I remember.
And it
Didn't
was
you get
like
two
folded.
made, or did you buy two pre-made?
I got No, we got some second handies. They were actually from Brett.
Yeah, that's right.
Got two second hand, mounts with the bushes and that already in it, and then we got these plates.
Or we welded the plates in. I think. Yeah.
Mitch welded the plates.
Yeah, Mitch did. Yeah, because your old ones like had the whole structure cut out of them. So it was like proper
fit the rims because it's got a narrow diff.
Bent, like
and they used to scrub on the inside, so they just cut there's like a little stiffener that got cut out, and it just went. So it's all the power, blowing for it.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh mate, just
big
torque,
power, mate. You know what I mean?
torque,
Just the torque, mate.
Yep.
It just folded them in half.
Twisted the chassis off the line.
So classic lacquer helped you get it like ready to go in the container.
Yeah.
What about like organizing the container, like getting it over there?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure they're like paperwork to be like, I'm a skid car going to America.
Yeah.
It's not a street car. It's not registered.
Yeah. Well, that was a massive thing. Like that's it. That's like the biggest thing that I was sort of worried about. So you messaged me and were like, Andrew Murphin does that.
Yeah.
He can help. I'm like, all right. So Andrew Murphin, Muscle Car Tires, which you can see behind Craig's head.
Up here.
He's one of Andrew's businesses, but he's also got Muscle Cars Queensland, where he mainly brings in from the States to Australia, like an old, 57 Chev or an old Camaro or whatever. So he brings those in to Australia. So he's familiar with the import process. He's got some connections in Australia and the US. And I hit him up and I said, I want to take the car to the US. Like, what can we do? And actually at the same time, Gut messaged me on Facebook when I'd put out that release video. Gup, if you're watching, like, whatever, bro, but you need to like work on your communication, bro, because dead set. Because all he messaged me was, ha ha. I'm like,
come on.
Sweet.
Yeah. Thanks for the advice,
bro.
Right.
Like, what are we doing? Anyway, so I replied to him. I said, look, I'm interested in your thoughts. Like, how can I get my car over there and that? Because obviously the Power Crews had their
top 5. Didn't have like 5 going.
USA Burnout Tour or whatever. But it just seemed like, I think at the time, it was like whoever wanted to go. If you messaged Gut and you were dead set serious, you were on the team. So anyway, I messaged him and I said, what's going on? Essentially, I wanted a price from him because I got a price off Andrew.
Yeah.
And Gup and I never got to a price because he was like, well, I need the car it was like tomorrow or I was in a week. and that was at the time where I went to
Just
Fridays.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
like-
and then I got 3 days to get it ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's not ready because there's a whole bunch of stuff that we needed to still do on it. Obviously, like clean all the fresh rubber off, blah 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 blah. There's still stuff to tick off the list. I'm like, there's no way I can make that at all. Actually, no, it was the week of. He wanted it the Tuesday, and Fridays was on the Friday. And I'm like, I'm going to Fridays, so we're out. So I did, we did try to do the whole power cruise thing, but it didn't work out. So I was like, sweet, we're going with Andrew. And honestly, best thing I ever did. Very glad that I went the way that I went. I am going to do a YouTube video about this, and I was actually going to record it today, but we ended up getting caught up drinking beers. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I've got a plan. So I'm going to let you guys know end to end. If you want to import your car from Australia to the US, I'll tell you exactly how to do it and everything you need to know, and I'll put it all in one video. That's coming. All right, so that's coming in a couple of weeks. I'll probably record that in the US and I'll put it up.
Hell yeah. That's going to help a lot of people out too.
Well,
That want to go do that.
If
That's
anyone
awesome
wants to
way.
go, like now Summernats is gone. Summernats have just announced they're doing their US thing. So maybe
Yeah, right.
you want to go, but if you don't want to be tied to this or that, you just want to go for a trip, like whatever.
Go
This
solo
man
by
here,
yourself.
You
Yeah.
just want to go solo. Which, like I said, I don't regret. It was hard because I was only there by myself. Whatever. But I don't regret it. Definitely don't regret it. So anyway.
And it
But yeah, Andrew
affords you, like,
Murphin
it-
was the
yeah.
guy who
But it
helped
affords
me a
you.
lot.
So yeah, like Power Cruise took their 5 or like whatever they did, and
Yeah.
then I think Gut side took like a few others. Like others went through him as well.
Yeah, Jack and
Jacko,
Jacko and Hinchy
yeah,
went
through Gut. Yeah,
Yeah.
you went through Murphin.
Yeah.
But also affords you like an ability to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, which is a big thing for me.
Yeah, like you don't have to. And I don't know what the contract is with like anyone else that went with Power Cruise or whatever. I don't know, but like I'm sure they would have to go to Power Cruise events. Like if you didn't want to, you had like something else to do, or you're doing something else, or whatever.
Promo,
you had the
like-
freedom to do whatever you wanted. Whereas like those guys had to do, I'm assuming they had to do like certain things. Whereas like you can just, America's like your oyster. You can go and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
There's no like you have to be at this event at this time, then you have to be at that event at that time, and you're like, oh no, I want to go see a sponsor over here. I want to do whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That freedom of
Don't
going
be tied to nothing.
of going by yourself solo and getting like Murphin to sort it out for you. It's like you're over there by yourself. Yeah, you're with the other Australians and you'll go to events and like everyone hangs out together. But you have that freedom of doing like whatever you want to do at that event or at other events, which some might be tied into like having to do certain events without knowing the like their deal and stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like
But
I
I'm
didn't,
sure
I
they'd
didn't
be-
ask, and
yeah.
Man, especially at the start, everyone was very like no one wanted to talk
Yeah.
about it at all, and there was lots of like hearsay. There's lots of like, rumors and stuff, and I was just like, oh, fuck this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just so glad that I'm not.
You're not tied to
Doing
anyone.
all
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm not answering to anyone, and
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if anyone was answering
Yeah.
to Gut. Or
Well,
but still don't
you know. So
I
there's
still
no,
don't know. Like,
yeah.
it's just I
But-
don't care.
But there's no rumors with you. You know you're not answering to anyone.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, which I think's a big thing. Like, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and a scary thing doing it all on your own too, not having
But that's
not
the other
having
half too.
the support network of
Yeah,
actually.
and that's it too.
yes,
Like, yeah,
but-
going over there with Power Cruise with the 5 cards is like they are a group.
Yeah.
So they're all going to lean on each other. At some point or
Yep.
another, they're all going to lean on each other. Like Lynchy, Skidmore, Imposter, Batlin. They're all going to lean on each other. Whereas
Yeah.
like you were kind of like, well, I'm over here. Is it going to be the same, or like am I going to be welcomed in, or like
which made it
there's
even
so
better
many, like,
because he did it by
unknowns
himself.
about that because
Yeah, it was
you,
it was a little bit weird, eh? Yeah.
yeah, because you were doing it on your own. So were you
Yeah.
going to be looked at as the guy who was like, oh no, he thought he could do it on his own. Go and do it on your own.
And that
It's
did
like-
happen. Like, I definitely felt like I was on my own.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely at times it made it harder for me.
Oh, I was gonna say it would have sucked on one hand, but
Yeah.
been good on the other hand.
but
yeah.
now
But,
looking
yeah.
back, You know?
You're glad you did it the way you did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mad.
Yeah.
I can hold my head high, and it taught me a lot about myself. Like, holy, like there were times I was just like,
A lot of life lessons getting
Oh
dished
yeah.
out.
dude.
No. You can get
Yeah.
through anything now.
yeah,
Like, legit.
I can't. I remember flying back to
Oh.
Brisbane. I was walking around. I was like, anything that happens,
Everything's
Yeah.
yeah. Right now it's
Doesn't
easy.
matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It literally doesn't matter. I can
Yeah.
just do anything.
Yeah.
Like that's genuinely how I felt,
Yeah.
which was awesome.
Yeah.
So with Murphin, he like the best thing about it was how close I was to the whole thing. Like he ran me through like man hours of conversations on the phone.
Oh.
You know, teeing up the date. I was able to. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to like put anyone in the shit. But like we were able to share a container, so I was able to reduce my cost to get to the US by partnering up with like another, mob
Business,
or
yeah.
business or individual or whatever who also had freight to send to the US at the same time. So we shared a container. So Cuddles, I think, went in a 40-foot container, which is like massive. We had a pallet of tires and the car, and then we just loaded all my tools and stuff in there in the car, and also the fridge that Phantom supplied. Shout out to Phantom Performance Parts. We should probably get onto this too, because there was a lot of, when I made the announcement, there were people who just reached out. The three main ones were, this is new sponsorship for me, who helped me out to get there. Or What Fabrications. So that's Bubba. He's got the skid car Or What. Pro level Summernats. Like sort of gold coloured VX Calais. You all know him. So he's got a fabrication business. He just messaged me. He's like, man, love what you're doing. Love that you pulled the trigger. You're doing it by yourself. Awesome. How can I help?
Yeah.
And I had a list. I literally had a list of stuff. Because Craig helped me out a lot. He's like, look, dude, you're doing a big thing. Like, if there is people who want to help, like, what can they help with? Maybe make a list just so you don't forget. So I did have a list there. I was like, look, man, I don't actually have an SFI rated fire suit. And I think I had a helmet, but I lost it. So I was like, look, man, I sent Bubba the list. Bubba's like, man, I'm a dealer for custom race suits and helmets. He's like, I'll sponsor you a helmet and a race suit, sticker on the car, shout outs on social media. Like, he's like, no strings attached, like no whatever, just fully offered that.
Fuck,
and I was like, holy shit, are you serious? He's like, dude. And he sent me the thing. I was like, at work, I was measuring my arm length and my leg length and all this stuff. And he's gone and ordered it. He's got Cuddles embroidered.
I was
on
gonna
the
say
back of
measuring
it.
is yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dead set, huge. Next one, billet buttons. So
Oh yeah.
Nelson Granger
Oh, yeah.
hit me up. He's like, dude, what do you need? And he swung me a bit of cash. This is about $1,000. Yeah, he's like, sticker on the back. Obviously, I don't actually run any of the billet button stuff yet, but I'd love to. And actually, I was thinking of putting some buttons in the trailer. So I've got a trailer with like lights and stuff in it over there and a battery system and that. So I was thinking, oh yeah, we could do that.
Oh, mad.
So yeah, there was that. And thanks, mate. And then yeah, Phantom Performance. He's up here in, is it Redcliffe? It's up
On top?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Redcliffe.
north side of Brizzy anyway. So they've got they build cars, but they've also got like performance parts supply store up there. Jump on their website. And he was like, what do you need? And I was like, look, I will need help with like accommodation costs and stuff like that. So each month I was over there, he sent me like $500 just to help for if I needed to stay the night or something, like at an RV park or whatever. So he sponsored that.
Mad.
Your fridge.
Yeah, and the fridge.
That was awesome.
Yeah, because at that point,
You got to keep beers cold somehow on a road trip.
Oh,
Come
100%.
on.
bloody oath.
we've got this brand new, massive King's fridge, which, like I said, if you go back on the Cuddles Burnouts Facebook page, you'll see the video that we've done, which is funny now looking back. But it is. Yeah, so we imported that. That fridge was just sitting on the back seat of Cuddles, and yeah, so massive help for those guys. Militus, obviously, you know, have been helping me out and Winginit Motorsports out, like, basically from the start. We haven't done too much with Militus yet, but for this next trip, we've got something planned. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. But he supplied this, like, $2,000 drone setup. It's just like, here you go. This will make your videos good. I used it once because I was, like, so friggin'...
Is that in
Frantic.
Yeah.
like the
It's a drone.
ravine?
Yeah,
No,
dude,
like,
I was...
yeah, like all those rocks and everything. Like on
Yeah.
the
I was
side or
coming
whatever.
through, I forget where it was. I think I was
Arizona,
coming
somewhere,
through
no?
Arizona, Texas, something
Yeah.
like that. And I remember just coming up on this hill, big bounder, just flat knacking. And I was like, this is beautiful landscape. Oh, this is beautiful landscape. Holy shit. All right. That's right. I'm here for a purpose. I need to show the people what I'm experiencing. And there was like a truck stop.
'Cause that was
right there. Bang.
Yeah.
That's the universe. I'm telling you. Pay attention to the little signs. And there was like a truck stop right there. Like as soon as I thought of it, there was a turn off. And I was like, bang, straight in. And it was like middle of summer. It was like 41 degrees Celsius or something like that. 40, 41.
So you'll sweat like.
Oh, dude. And the drone's overheating. Like,
Oh.
It's all happening, man.
So it got affected by how hot it was. Like.
Yeah,
outside.
it wouldn't fly for a bit. I had, to,
right.
I had to stick it in the fridge.
Oh,
I had to stick the drone in the fridge.
I didn't know they got like heat affected like that.
Yeah, because they get super hot, man.
Yeah. Okay.
You turn the drone on.
I guess
like,
they got a camera. They're trying to
motors,
fly.
camera. They got
Yeah.
a massive battery in them. You know, they got fans in them.
Yep.
And as soon as you turn it on, the fans just go. I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit! Like it is hot. And then you're flying around. But anyway, I got to get a bit of footage, and I was learning how to fly it. You know, and you're passing like eagles and stuff, and apparently the eagles can like come down your
trying to hit
drones.
it.
I was all worried about that. Anyway,
That's pretty cool though.
yeah, it's just like massive help. And then the biggest friggin' sponsorship deal of my friggin' life, like craziest shit ever. So I emailed, I think at the start, you're like, just reach out, you know, just see if anyone's interested. It can't hurt. You need the help. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
So what do you need over there? I was like, oh, tools would be good.
definitely.
You're like, man, hit up SP Tools, like the Australian SP Tools. Maybe they'll give you like a little toolbox or something you can chuck it in, like.
Yeah, and take it over like in the car.
Yeah. You know, make it obviously, you know, work for them as well, and just figure out a bit of a deal, right? So I was like, emailed SP Tools, and this is the Australian SP Tools, and Molly, shout out to Molly, who replied. She's like, look, the Australian side, we're all full up for the year. We've got no possible way we can help you at all here in Australia, but we do have the USA side of SP Tools who've just started up now, and I'll forward your email on to them and we'll see what they say.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, thank you so much. You know, I was like, oh, this won't work. Like, no way.
Yeah.
Long shot.
And
Definite long shot for sure.
100%, it was the biggest long shot of my life.
But the long shot was you going to America as well. So like
Well, yeah.
full of long
It's
shots.
you
like,
trying.
why not?
And I'd written this,
Like
man.
reaching out.
I'd written this. I'd spent hours on this email, like telling them who I am, what the story is with the car. I'm like, look, I've got minimal runs on the board in terms of like, you know, burnout driving, whatnot, but I love it. Like I'm committed, like to the core. I love this sport. I love the car scene, and I'm like, I won't let you down. Like whatever.
Oh, definitely.
Whatever it is, you know, if you guys can just back me, like 100%, I'll deliver, like whatever you guys want. So anyway, the US team read that and literally just replied with, Kieran, with love, like awesome story, amazing. Go on the website, sptoolsusa.com, send us a list of the tools that you need.
Which is
And I was like-
crazy.
I
You're
was
like,
like,
I want
jealous
your whole
ass.
catalog. Thank you.
Yeah.
Everything you guys list, give me one of.
One of everything.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Got this
10 mil
reply
set.
email. I was like, holy crap. So I spent 6 hours on the SP Tools USA website. I had a spreadsheet open on one side and the website on the other. And I went through line by line, product by product, every single product on that website. I was like, didn't want to take the piss because that was the biggest thing. I was like, I want this to be value for both of us. Like, am I legitimately going to use this tool? No? Forget it. Go to the next one. Yes?
Yeah,
All right.
man.
Put the SKU number, put the price, the product description, like what it was, and then put beside that, for every single item that I put on that list, I wrote how I would use it and why I would need it, and just to show them that I wasn't just going through the catalog and being like, oh, that looks cool, like, but it was like genuinely car automotive use, you know. And I went through the whole thing. There was merch on there, safety stuff on there.
Yeah.
And then I went through that. There was like all hand tools, and then there was like a bit down the bottom where I was like, this is the stretch goal, and it was like 4 items. And I was like, these things are
if it was a dream, this is what I would take.
I'm like, if I'm shooting for the absolute stars, this would absolutely just make the whole trip an absolute breeze. Like, but I know they're very expensive, and it's probably, you know, whatever. And I don't want to seem like I'm asking for the world here, so I put it in a separate thing. And one of them was that massive roll cab that I ended up with. That huge roll cab. It was like $5 grand, like just for the roll cab, empty. And I was like, look, it's got a stainless top, it's got lockable drawers, and you know, the wheel casters and stuff like that. I'm like, I can sit that in the front of the trailer, and I can use that as like a workbench. It's portable. I can store absolutely everything in it. You know, there was that. There was like some other stuff on there. A workbench as well. A separate workbench. And they come back and just said, yep. When are you coming?
Didn't they ask like what state do you want it in, or like where do you want it?
Yeah, they were like, yep.
Legends.
Let us know
come and get it.
where you would like it shipped. And I was like, excuse me? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. What part of the email do I get?
Yeah. Because I
Like the whole
legitimately
fucking lot.
didn't know.
shit.
I was like,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to ask and be like, so is that everything? Or
Yeah.
like, I was just like, let's just roll with this. Like, let's just go. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. I'm like, look, I'm starting the trip in Phoenix, but at some point I need to get to, I don't know where it was, but I was like, I looked them up. They're in Alabama, just down the bottom, near Florida. I was like, how about I come to you, we pick it up, and we do a bit of promotion. They're like, that sounds great. Lock it in. When are you going to be here? I was like, holy shit. And then obviously there's the
That promotion video.
the promotional video where we,
We're dealing with a homicide right here.
Yeah.
There's a
the
dead
cops
body.
rocked up. Oh, we got all the basically anyone who was working at SP Tools in Alabama on the day all come out as soon as they heard the car fire up. I was like, should we go for a little lap? They're like, yeah, and they all jumped in, and they had the videographer filming, and gave a little squirt down the side, one of the side roads. Parked it, and then the cops rock up, and I'm like, legitimately, my trip's over. This is done. I'm going away in handcuffs. I'm gonna die. Holy shit. And the cop was so cool. He was just like, man, we're working a homicide, and I can't hear myself think. And I was like, no shit. And then he just gets back in the car and drives away. And I was like, and then the SP Tools guys start talking shit about the cop. I'm like, oh, he wasn't going to do nothing. I was like, don't say that. He's come back, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like worried as.
I feel like every Australian watching
That's
that was
crazy.
like, oh, Kieran's gone away for like
Yeah.
a while.
Oh, yes, straight away. I'm like, oh, he's fucked.
He's
And then
gone.
almost like, can you fucking keep it down?
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep it
We're,
down, like,
Yeah.
we're investigating a homicide.
I can't hear the people trying to question, like, blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
because of this shit's, like, getting rowdy, and you're like, fucking, yeah, dude.
And you see Kieran, like, white as a ghost going,
dude, I dropped to the
okay.
ground after I turned around and I cut it out of the YouTube video, but I was on the ground. I was like, man, my life flashed before my eyes.
But the video that
Oh,
SB Tools USA put up, like their perspective of it,
Yeah.
you can just see you standing there as like a stunned mullet.
yeah, I know.
And our mate's like, oh, hey, man, like, did you hear us? And he's just, like, talking to you, and you're just like, you can see from the back that you're just like, I have no idea what to do with my hands. I'm just going to stand here. And our mate's like, oh, no, it's cool. Like, we do this shit all the time. Meanwhile, in your head, you're obviously being like, I'm fucking going away for a long time here.
I'm done.
Because
Yeah.
in Australia,
Oh, you'd be fucked.
Cuddles would be this coffee table.
Oh,
And you'd be
100%.
gone, and we'd be like, oh,
Yep.
yeah, so Kieran used to be a host on the podcast, but now his
He's
car's
in
a
jail
coffee
for
table.
25 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Cuddles is a coffee
And
table.
Cuddles has been squashed into a cube.
Yeah.
Into a cube,
Whereas over
yeah.
there, they're like, oh, no, he knows. It's like, we do this shit all the time or whatever.
Yeah, he
And-
was just worried about the noise. He's just like, don't do it again, keep it down.
Yeah.
I was like, alrighty.
Yeah. Which is...
Got away with that
Yeah.
one. Like,
Yeah.
man, I couldn't
Jeez.
believe it. Could
Like,
not
and I'm
believe
sure
it.
over here you probably get one or two that might be like that, but not...
Oh,
Well, actually,
yeah,
I've had some cops in Australia be very, very good to me.
Yeah.
When I first got it tuned, out Logan Way, and did a bit of a naughty thing on the road, and the cops pulled up. There's still smoke coming out of the boot. We're parked on the road. They're like, "Those are fake plates." I'm like, "I know." They're like, "They're stolen plates." I'm like, "They're not stolen, bro. They're off eBay." Like. Anyway, they let me off. It was really good. But anyway, like I said, there's a lot of people who I couldn't have done this trip without. And, all those sponsors who talk to me like every week. They're always asking how I was going.
oh yeah.
Which is good, like, community. But, like,
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
it was just
it's the
like,
best.
they're like,
good support network.
they were just like, we love what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
all of them said, they're like, we don't want anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Just to see
let's
you
do
do
a
well.
schedule, like post schedule.
Yeah.
I can promote your business and whatnot, like blah blah blah. They're all like, nah, like I mean, if you want, but nah,
Yeah.
like
They weren't asking
not
for anything,
required,
like, in
not
return.
required.
Yeah.
They're like, we just want to help. We just love what you're doing, which is like
so
so
good.
like heartwarming, like humbling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I was like, man, this, all of yous are like that. You're all just like,
No, well, yeah.
how can I help? How
Yeah.
can I help? How can I help? How can I help? I was just blown away. It's like,
Yeah, no, I just want to see you succeed, and they would be the same. Like, that's it. And it's cool too. Like, we're all jealous that you're fucking over there doing this shit. So
Don't be too jealous, bro. You can come over. Right? It's dead set. I'll chop the throttle cable off the RV and leave you in the remote wilderness, and we'll
You can get the full experience.
get the full
I'll
experience.
go
You
walk
can
about
get
it a
the
bit.
Cuddles experience.
Yeah. Man.
Leave you on the side of a highway and be like, come pick you up tomorrow, bro. You'll be sweet. Just do your thing for
Just
a while.
fully,
here.
trapped on the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
42 degrees, like sweating your ass off.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
Fuck, man.
Bit of a twofer. Might as well.
Yeah.
How was it when you first saw Cuddles? Like, you've landed, you've gone to... Where'd you pick it up from? Was it Luke's depot? Like, where he gets his engines and shit?
Yeah.
Or is that
it's-
another business?
It's another business. Yeah. It's not Luke's. It's Luke uses the guy. The guy's name's George. I forget what it's called.
But it's like the port.
Yeah,
Or like-
they call it the port, I guess.
Yeah.
So it basically, when you get a container, it comes off the ship and goes onto the port. It can't stay on the port. Like, obviously, a port's busy as fuck. They have to get the containers out. So they all get ferried out to different depots where they get unpacked.
Depot,
Right?
yeah, that's the word, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a depot. They'll have a container rock up, like maybe 1 or 2 per day, and then they'll unpack it, and then they send the empty container. They'll either repack it with stuff and book it on another ship so it can go. But the container is like a rental, essentially. So you can have the container at your depot for like a week to unpack it.
Mhm.
And then if you want to keep it for longer, it's like
Yeah.
a rental.
Yeah,
for
you
a
start
sort
getting
of
fees,
fortune.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it ended up at George's yard in Long Beach, California, which, if you've listened to any Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Eminem song, Long Beach, it's friggin' Long Beach. Like, you're rocking up. Dude, we're like on the road trying to load Cuddles into the trailer, and there's this hoopty ass friggin' Escalade with like 3 million inch rims with like 4 18s in the back, like just going rolling down the street like
Fuck yeah.
dead set.
That's mad.
It was like full stereotype.
Proper Cali.
Oh yeah, proper
Yep.
yeah.
West Side.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it was cool, but it's like the ghetto. Like where you pick it up from is the ghetto. It's like just a side street.
Yeah, fuck.
What was it like seeing it for the first time on American soil?
Dude, you know what? When I saw it, I was like, oh yeah. Literally, because I was so
Stressed.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was so stressed.
Overwhelmed?
When I got to pick it up, I'd just broken down on the side of the Californian highway.
Oh, it's that when you-
6-lane highway on the way in. It's like I'm going through Anaheim or something. And the throttle cable seizes because the exhaust fell off the back of the turbo because it wasn't supported anywhere. And I thought, yeah, she'd be right. And she was not right. It fell off. And I thought, and then I like had a look and I was like, nah, that engine compartment's pretty open. Like it should just evacuate that exhaust gas, no worries. Won't be any heat issues. There was friggin' heat issues, I'm telling you, right? So what ended up happening was the hot air out of the turbo, because I'm smashing through like towing a friggin', I'm like
Oh, EGTs
a
are like 900
40,000 pounds.
Yeah.
This is a Kieran Barber.
This is the start of the best fucked up story ever here in your life. I'm like, and it just gets worse the more he speaks.
The most Kieran Barber moment of your life. She'll be right. No worries, mate. Yeah, that turbo can just spew that hot exhaust gas into that engine bay and nothing will be wrong. Especially when the ambient air outside is 35 to 42 degrees Celsius.
Oh, God.
Don't worry about that. So anyway, the throttle cable on the other side and also the transmission cable both melted on the highway. So I'm on the Californian highway going like as fast as I possibly can, which is like 70, 75 if you're lucky.
Is
And
that
I get
miles?
miles
Mile
an
an
hour.
hour, yeah.
So that's like 120 k's an hour. And I'm the slowest person on the highway at that speed.
No shit.
The slowest person. I'm getting honked. I'm getting fucking... Like, man, it was all happening. Anyway, California, man, any big city, Chicago, oh my lord. Chicago driving, really bad. California,
You don't want to
close
pull over in
second.
Chicago.
Oh, dude, we'll get to that. That was hectic. Chicago, driving through the back streets of friggin' Chicago.
Oh, you fuck.
Me and Hinchy. Yeah, we had that blicky out. Don't you worry about that. We had to because it was like
That
dodgy.
is... Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty gnarly.
But anyway, I got cut off on the highway and I was like, all right, yeah, come off the accelerator. And the accelerator pedal stays glued flat to the floor. And I'm like, this sucks. And the temp gauge,
the bounder was bounding.
the bounder was fucked.
It was fucking
Temp
going.
gauge was pegged. I was like, yeah. Like, we've been thrashing now for like 30 minutes. You know, it's all happening. And I come off the throttle and I'm like, man, I'm like gonna fucking ram this. Whatever. And luckily, my first instinct was to pull on the throttle cable. Which, if it was just a normal throttle cable, would have done nothing. But thank the Lord, it was a Morse cable. So it was one of those push-pull cables, you know, like a transmission cable.
Like a choke?
Oh,
Yeah.
yep.
So it's like a truck, did you say?
No, like a choke.
Choke.
A choke, yeah. So it was like it can push but also pull. And I pulled up on it and it was gritty and it was like I had to reef it up. But thankfully it closed the throttle thing on the Cummins.
Stop pulling on the ejector pump.
Yeah. Yeah, it just closes the fuel off or whatever. And I was able to and then I was like well, maybe it's just sticky. And then I put it down again, it stuck down and I was like barely able to get it up like back up.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to die here if I can't drive. I'm like, I need to pull over. So I pulled over and I stayed there for like 2.5 days on the side of the highway. Right there.
Jesus.
And I was like, I don't know what to do. Holy crap, I don't know what to do. So first thing, I just go and look at it. Skip a few 99, 100. Like, I could sit here for hours talking about it. But essentially, I tried to figure out if it was the cable, pardon me, or the pump. So I took the cable off the pump and just had the cable resting there, and then went back up the front. I was like, nah, okay, it is the cable. And then I tried to look up under the chassis, and the cable just disappears. But it's like a 40-foot cable.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the hell am I going to get a
Fucking
40-foot
hell.
cable from? So
Of a 1993
yeah,
RV.
and not
Yeah.
only that, but all the wiring loom in the engine bay was melted. Like all the split corro was all just drooping down, melted. So now I'm worried about short circuiting. Like
Yeah.
there's all these. I'm
Your brain like prepares for the worst.
I'm in absolute
You're
all
like,
sorts.
yeah.
And I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to fix it. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, I know sitting here now, it's you sort of might be listening to this being like, oh, it's just, it's, but it all adds up. I'm telling you, it's like, this is the biggest thing about that first trip is I went over there thinking, like, be easy, should be easy. Go over there, buy an RV, just start driving it. But it's all the little things, man, and it's no other way to describe it than if you go and do it. But like, you're driving on the other side of the road. It's hot, like really, really hot. You got, oh man, you got an empty gas tank, so the fridge isn't working. You've got to run the generator, and that's burning all your diesel. And then you're like smashing along the highway. Your phone's getting too hot, so it's shutting down, so you don't know where you're going. Like, and then it just, trust me, it just all adds up. I was just
Yeah,
in
it
absolute
sounds
all
fucked
sorts.
You're in the trenches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
On solo too,
and
which
then the
would have
throttle
been
Yeah.
even
cable,
harder.
and I'm like,
oh
damn,
man.
like, and I had no tools. So at that point, I was going to pick the car up, and then I was going to SP.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to rock up to SP with no car. It's like,
Yeah.
why? Like,
Yeah.
so I go get the car first, but I had nothing. I had like
Show
these,
them the car and yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Like everyone would have done that. Like yeah, 100%.
I had the dodgiest set of hand tools you've ever seen, like from AutoZone, 50-cent pliers. Like, man, it was dodgy. So the first person I reach out to is Murphin. I'm like, I need help. I'm genuinely, and at that point, I had my head in my hands. I was in the front of the car. I was in the front of the RV, and I was like, I'm genuinely fucked here. I don't know what to do. I was like, I need help.
Would have been scary.
He's like, who's with you? I'm like, I'm by myself. I'm like, I've got food and I've got water. He's like, all right, good. He's like, where are you? Exactly. Send him a pin drop. He's like, leave it with me. And dead set, no word of a lie, 25 minutes later, this ute pulls up in the front of the RV, and this guy gets out, and I open the door. I'm like, oh, hey, man. He's like, g'day, mate. I'm like, oh, it's an Australian. Like,
Oh no shit.
what the hell? He's like, yeah, I heard you're having a few dramas. I'm like, oh, dude, you have no idea how good it is to here in Australia.
Oh fuck, that would have
Oh.
been mad too.
His name was Peter Dennis.
Reassured you.
Oh, dude. And he looks, bro, Pete, if you're watching this, don't take it bad. But he looks like Ivan Milat. That's what I thought. He's got the sideburns coming down the side. He's got like the long hair and that. I just thought, man. And he's like proper like ochre Australian guy living in California. He lived in Riverside, which is literally like 25 minutes away from where I was broken down. One of Andrew's good mates.
Yep.
He's like, look, I've
legend.
got to explain the situation. He's like, what do you need? I'm like, right now, I just need to find a place where I can get this throttle cable. He's like, all right. So he goes back home that night, and then he's like, tomorrow morning, we'll go get your cable sorted. And dead set, there was a cable place. While you wait, we'll make you a cable. Like 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
In California. I forget the name, but I looked it up.
It's like
It
a
was
tyre shop, but just for throttle cables.
Literally. They're like,
Yeah,
any
that's
sort of
mad.
cable. It was like marine, it was the Morse cables, push-pull, or it was just your normal throttle cable. They just had all the stock there.
Yeah.
They're like, ideally we get the thing because we need to know the ends and stuff like that. So anyway, we get a brand new throttle cable. I reinstall it, right? We're like, happy days. Back on the road. But I didn't fix the exhaust.
The exhaust still hanging.
The exhaust is hanging down. I'm like,
Oh,
she'll be right.
PGTs.
Surely,
The old Kieran
surely
Barber
the-
should be right.
the old Kieran
Yeah.
Barber should
You
be
didn't.
right.
You didn't
Just-
flick
yeah,
the strap. That ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then
I don't think he did that the entire trip. By the sounds of it.
it burnt it. It burnt it again. But this time I was like, hang on. I can feel this getting stiff. This is fucked. So I pulled over again. And I was like, nah. All right, what's happening? And then I look, and I'm like, this exhaust, this is not good. I'm like, the one thing that I can do to improve this situation is fix that exhaust.
Yeah.
So I took the V-band off, and then I just got a pair of pliers and just bell-mouthed out the pipe, which had a V-band attachment on the end that had broken off. So I just bell-mouthed it out and just jammed it on the back of the turbo, cranked that V-band clamp down, and that's how it is as of right now. As of
baby.
today, she's just clamped on there. I got a ratchet strap with a coat hanger and a bucket lid of a bucket handle from a Home Depot bucket on the side of the road in California. I was like, I need a piece of steel. Like, I just need some steel cable or just something I can just hold this exhaust up because I don't want it to happen again. So I'm walking up and down the highway, and there's this Home Depot bucket with like a aluminum handle bucket, and I just like reef that off. I'm like, yep, can use that. Wrap that around a couple of times. Use a ratchet strap up to the top of the thing, and it's legit how it still is now.
I love it.
And then there's another bit off the frame that's like a coat hanger that's just holding it up.
So are you fixing that when you go back this time? Or are you like, nah,
Fucking
she's good. She's sorted.
Fix
Are you
what,
kidding?
Craig?
She's,
Fix
yeah, she's
what?
great.
What's the issue?
Oh.
She's good.
What's the issue?
She ain't bodgy if it works.
She's
Yeah,
supported.
yeah. If it
supported.
works, it's not fucked. You're like,
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Winging it.
But now
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
every time I
fucking hell.
take off from the lights, I put my foot down. I make sure the diesel's pissing out the side, like the soot.
And that's how you know.
Not
That's how I know
underneath.
the
Oh,
exhaust is
God.
still pointing out
Man.
where it needs to be.
All in my head, all I can hear is like, you are Australian. Like, the more you talk, the more I'm like, yeah, you're fucking up for the rest of us because you're like, I'm the Australian guy doing this shit.
Yeah,
Everyone's like, just fix it. You're like, nah, she'll be right.
she'll be right.
So there's
Taking
there's-
zip
there's-
ties and fucking WD-40 over
Yeah,
there.
but there's only so much she'll be right before
Then-
it's not right.
Before
Yeah.
she's not right.
Kieran's
That's
like
all
Kieran's
the
pushing the
learning, man.
boundaries of like she'll be right.
All
So
the learning.
if there was a company or an ad for like she'll be right, it's you. You should be on there being like, you know what? If you want to do this, flick your strap, she'll be right.
She'll be
If
right.
you want to bend this out and make this work and grab a bucket handle,
if you like,
she'll be
if
right.
you like taking risks, she'll be right.
Yeah, Kieran's your man.
Yeah.
You're like the Mitre 10 of fucking American burnouts.
I was just
Australian
figuring
burnouts.
it all out,
Which is good,
I was
though.
just
Which
like-
is, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
and I had to do it. Like, I had to go through all the
Yeah.
shit. I'm like, man, I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
At some point, you just get sick of yourself.
Excuse me.
You just go, man, like, I'm sick of going through this crap. And it's all me. That's
Yeah.
my own fault.
Yeah. Like, you're the one causing all the issues, or like, not
Yeah.
causing the issues, but you're the one that's like, I'm not fixing it properly. I'm just
Yep.
band-aiding it, things to get me there.
Yep.
So, like, yeah, if you had taken the time to stop, fix it properly, it may have been like a better trip.
Yeah.
But then also, and like I've said to you before, like,
Terrible decisions, great stories.
exactly,
Yeah.
100%, man. Like, not even terrible decisions, but like the decisions you make in the moment.
The decisions
build-
he didn't make.
Yeah, but they build to this story that, like, yeah, to everybody else, it's fucking chaotic. And it was, I remember you messaging me, like, I'm on the side of the highway for 2.5 days. I remember being
I remember getting
upstairs.
hammered. I had a box of beer.
Yeah, I
I
remember
was
being.
absolutely sloshed that first
I remember
night.
being upstairs, like, feeding my daughter at, like, 2 a.m. And you're online. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? You're like, I'm stuck on the side of the highway. I'm day 2. I'm just getting fucking drunk. And I was like, my man. I was like, this is good. I was like, let's go. And I was, like, feeding Peyton. I was like, and we just chatted for, like, hours.
Yeah.
And you're like, why are you awake? I'm like, it's her feeding time, like, 2 a.m. Like, I'm awake. Fucking, she's awake. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, this trip's fucking chaos. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, it's all a part of it.
I remember
but
I was
it is,
hating it.
and it,
I
and it
remember
is.
messaging you being like, what am I doing? What
Yeah.
am I doing? Like,
But, and that
This
was the
is
thing too,
stupid.
it was like, just keep on going.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to do? You're going to fucking stop? No. You're there, your car was there, you're about to get it. It's like, just keep on going, man. And now, you got this whole like we've been talking for like an hour and 20 minutes almost,
Yeah.
and you've got this whole story, and we haven't even gotten to an event yet,
Yeah.
and you're like peak fucking having a great time.
Yeah.
Well, not having a great time, but like memories of just being built for like a long time.
Yeah.
And you haven't even got to an event in America yet,
Yeah.
and you're like, I've just got all this shit I can talk about, and also character building, and like if you want to get like into it, it's like it shows you the kind of guy you are, also the kind of people you have around you. Like you could call Murphin, who's in Australia, who's like lives 10 minutes from here. Now he lives like 5 minutes up the road. You can be like, bro, I'm fucking stuck
Yeah.
on the side of the highway, and he's like, I got your back, give me fucking 20 minutes. And then a dude walks up and be like, hey, you friend of Murphin? Fucking come with me.
Yeah.
Like, that shit can work out. And, like, it always works out. Someone figures it out, or you figure, everyone figures it out. It's the Aussie way. We always get shit done.
Yeah.
And we figure, oh, you're fucking grabbing your thing, and you're like, I'll just reap on this fucking thing, and I'll slow the bounder down or whatever. Like, we always seem to figure it out.
Yeah.
And
Never
then,
give up.
if it was easy, and it was a cruisy thing, and you knew the outcome was going to be, like, all sweet, it's not worth doing, because no one will fucking do it.
That's
Right?
the
Like,
other
if
way.
you-
If it's
if you
easy,
knew-
everybody would be doing it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's it. If it was easy, yeah.
But if you knew this trip was like, oh man, I'm going to buy this bounder, and I'm going to buy a trailer, I'm going to put the car in it, I'm going to skid, I'm going to win every comp, I'm going to drive with no mechanical failures, and my life's going to be fucking perfect, you wouldn't want to do it, because it's not worth it, because there's no like juice at the end of the squeeze, which I live my life on. Is the juice worth the squeeze?
I actually
If
like
it's
that.
not, it's not fucking worth doing.
And now Kieran's about to go back there.
Exactly.
And
Again, like
so positive, so pumped up. Like,
and he
let's
had
go. Like,
and
nothing
he had,
can fucking stop me.
and he had a rough first go. Like, we all know it was fucking rough. We all saw it.
Fuck.
And I remember sitting in bed at 2 a.m. being like, fuck, man.
Same here, man.
I
me and
I
Mitch.
didn't want you to quit. And I kept telling you, like, don't fucking quit. Like, you can't quit. You can't give up.
But you
have to keep on going. And you did. But it's like, if you had of, you would have come back and you'd have been like, why'd I fucking give up?
Yeah,
And you wouldn't
100%.
and you wouldn't be going back again. But the fact that you are going back again just proves that, A, your character, and B, like, it's worth it, and you're willing to fucking do it again.
Definitely.
And you got people backing you. They're like, let's go again.
Yeah.
And now, what you're also showing is like other people, like other Australians or whoever wants to jump on board, and somebody else is going to send the car over there. This is the things you can do. Yeah, it can not be like, it might not be the most perfect fucking trip of the world. Hinchy didn't have the perfect trip. His thing got written off, almost right off his skid car.
Yep.
Like Jacko's been alright. He's not done
He
too
blew
bad.
his motor up.
yeah.
But he's still had
And-
issues.
And also, he's had
Like-
dramas with his van and that. Like,
Yeah.
that thing's not perfect
Yeah,
either.
but like
you know?
everyone's had issues,
100%,
but like the issues
yeah.
are mitigated and like they're not massive. Or they're
Manageable,
not,
yeah.
they're manageable issues, right? Like no one's had like the
Man.
perfect run unless you've got millions of fucking
And
dollars.
so
And-
yeah.
Jacko was on the
Nothing comes
highway and one of his trailer wheels just went. Like, which you probably wouldn't know about because I don't think he posted.
I don't
about
know.
it,
I
but-
haven't seen any of that. I didn't know.
Well, one of his trailer wheels.
I thought Jacko's
fell
ship
off.
was going okay. I
Just
didn't.
fell off.
Yeah, same.
He unhooked his trailer, and then drove to an like auto parts store, bought a grinder. He has like a generator on the back of the trailer, so he's bought this.
Is that
grinder.
the little dog hut thing he built? Like
Yeah.
looks like Jasper should be
Yeah.
sleeping in there.
Literally the doghouse for the generator. Bless his soul. That thing's awesome.
That's the most home job. Have you seen it?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it looks like your dog should be sleeping in the front of your
It's
trailer
fully purposely built,
in the doghouse.
and
thing.
it's like it's just about like if it had gutters, you could fucking live.
Yeah.
In it.
Oh, I would. No.
But so let's move. Like we've got stuck on like how the start of your trip was fucking chaotic.
It was, yeah.
What about how? So you got your car, and I remember like Luke from Soham sent you a photo being like, "Oi, your fucking motor's come back
Yeah.
through the depot that it left the country, and that's come back like in a car."
Yeah, that was crazy.
Which is crazy. Which Hinchies did it as well. Like, which is a fucking weird like
Yeah.
roundabout thing of like
Yeah.
they all
Come
leave
full
it. They all
circle.
leave America a block. They fuck around over here. They get built. They do skids, and then in cars are being shipped back
Back to
through the
America.
same depot.
Send it over.
Yeah, and then so you've done that. You've got in the car. So in your car could go over with the oil in it, but no methanol. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that- Because I thought
Yeah.
it might be New Zealand. They can't go with fluids. Maybe.
Yeah. So I don't know about coming back to Australia, and
That's the worst.
once I do
Yeah.
come back to Australia, I'll do another video on how to get it back. Because right now there's no point in me doing it because I've not done it, and I don't want to do things on hearsay. But going to America, it had all the engine oil in it, it had all the trans oil in it, diff oil, and we just drained the tank. So we drained the tank, run the carbs out, put some WD-40 in the carbs, and made sure all the methanol was out of the accelerator pump squirters, and then took the plugs out, gave it a hit of WD-40 in the plug holes,
Mad.
put it back in, and then winched it on the thing, sent it there, and it was
Yeah.
no dramas.
Yeah.
Oils,
Could be in the motor. Yeah. But no like fuel in the fuel cell or like in the lines.
yeah, no,
like,
we drained the fuel out of
So,
the
yeah.
cell.
So they're like all good with engine oil, but
I don't
not-
even know if we needed
fuel.
to drain the fuel out, to be honest with you, but we
Yeah,
did.
but you did it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got that. You got the car,
Yeah.
and then you started like, let's go to an event. Or, like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, so straight from there, I went from California straight back through. I actually stopped back at Phoenix for like 2 days just to fix a few things up. I was like,
after the chaos.
yeah, I was like, now that the car's on the trailer, I was like, I replaced a few trailer bearings and repacked the grease in the trailer bearings and all that stuff, and just did a few wiring things to get the batteries
Several
charged.
times.
And also I got 6 new tires
Oh.
on the RV, 4 new tires on the trailer, and all the brakes done on the RV. And it was like the best decision ever because we took it to the brake thing, the truck joint, and the guy's like, "Look at this front rotor." The rotor was smashed and the pad was down to steel. So I was like,
Fucking hell.
thank God. And he got the parts in there. It's like overnight friggin' parts.
I'm pretty
Like,
sure you had this up on your Instagram and shit too.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I was responding to all your stories when you were in the shop. I'm like, fuck, this cunt's a mad dog. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Straight
I
up.
was
Well,
thinking the same.
did he do the axle? Like machine?
Yeah.
Was he the one?
Oh, he wasn't like no. So he noticed the axle was leaking, and he took the axle out of the rear driver's side, which is opposite to Australia, so left hand side. Took that out and just re-siliconed it up, put it back in. But essentially, the problem with that was the face wasn't flat. So even that silicon job that he did, it started leaking again. I was like, oh fuck, like. Then I'm thinking, I'm going to leak all my diff oil out, and I'm worried about that. I'm like, oh man. So anyway, it wasn't until later on that we actually got it on a lathe and got it true, and then put it back on. That was sweet. So yeah, anyway, so straight went to Phoenix, did a few things on the thing, and then I was on the road. And I was like, all right,
I'm
this
heading
is
to, I'm
fully the
heading to
start
an
of the
event.
trip.
I'm gonna fucking skid. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Let's
You would have been
go.
pumped by then. Going,
like-
come on.
Yeah, Kieran's like, I'm
going-
gonna.
Straight
Want
to
to pop?
SP Tools.
Yeah, and that's what he did.
Straight to SP Tools, which is in Alabama. It was like a 3-day drive. Did that, got like overwhelming support from SP. Can't thank those guys enough. They're really like, I think the owner is Aussie.
Oh.
He's got an Aussie. Owner's got a bunch of cars.
Oh, is
one
he
of
the
them-
one that's got the Ute?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maloo or
I don't think it's
might
a
not
Maloo.
be
It's like a
but-
VF
yeah, like the VF, like new
black with like
yeah.
all wrapped SP
Yeah,
Tools
I remember
USA.
seeing that. Yeah,
What,
yeah, yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
It's like a VF, like
But
full
it's like
VF, like sitting there.
400 plus cube LSX with nitrous.
Yeah,
Like
it's sitting like in
balls
his
to the
like in
wall.
his home. Like that's his home car.
No
Yeah, dude.
shit.
It's like it's proper fucking
Yeah.
like good to go. Yeah,
Oh,
I saw
that's
the
mad.
video. I
I
was
think
like,
he's
oh,
got
that's a fucking Maloo. Like,
Nova as
sorry, not
well.
Maloo, but yeah.
But like
Oh,
a
that's sick.
crazy Nova. They go on the Hot Rod Power Tour, I think it's called. Maybe I could be wrong. Apologies if I'm wrong. Or it could be the Drag and Drive thing. Anyway, they enter all the cars in that. So they're proper rev heads, awesome guys, and they really helped me out, and they've just backed me. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. It's just all
Yeah.
this stuff. The
It's the best.
huge value of tools
Yeah.
that are now mine.
Yeah.
And
But
all thanks to them.
SP are the best too. Like,
Dude, I actually legitimately
They are.
love
Yeah.
tools.
They're
Dano
the
got
best
me onto
tool.
SP.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
bought a spanner roll
Mm-hmm.
of SP, and I was like, these are really good, and they're not like snap-on spendy.
You're not buying the brand.
no.
Yeah.
You're
buying the tool.
You're not spending bulk coin on the same quality of tool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
we
yeah.
get the SP tool truck out
You guys got
every
SP
Friday.
all in
Yeah.
your...
Yep, the whole.
Yeah, they're full
our
kitted
whole-
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're full kitted out.
And this is not like an SP ad. It's just like
Oh,
just-
no,
they're
no.
just
good
great
they
And
are.
they're
tools.
great too. Like,
They're just great
even
tools.
like,
Yeah.
well,
How good they are, but how good the tool is, but also how much they got behind you on your trip to be like.
oh, definitely. Even
Yeah.
Jim, like the guy that like looks after us, with SP tools, he wanted to help Kieran out. He goes,
Yeah.
"I'm sorry, Australia. You know, like Kieran said, already had like their limit.
Yeah,
They couldn't
yeah.
do anything more.
Yeah.
But
But SP
He
tools
was
still
even
got
like-
behind them. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, they did. Well,
yeah.
like I said, Molly was talking to me back and forth, and then she's like, "I'll just send your email to the US guys, and we'll just see what they say." And then they were like more than accommodating. Like, couldn't believe it. And yeah, it was all thanks to the Aussie guys for giving me that chance. So yeah, I can't thank them enough.
So
Yeah.
I want to get into like, I'm pretty sure your first event was the one where you trailer skidded at first.
Nah. So there was one
Was
before that.
No, there's one.
You went to Zombie Garage first.
Nah.
No? Was
oh,
that?
actually, yeah.
Yeah, that's where
I
you did.
Yeah.
That's where you did the test skid
So I
and
went to SP Tools.
8300.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was talking to.
Yeah, your gauge might be faulty, but I saw it's been to 9. I'm
I was
like,
talking-
okay.
I was talking to Jacko. This whole time I was talking to Jacko. He's like, "Well, you got to come here, man. These guys are awesome. I've been here like my whole trip essentially. I've talked to them. They're like, you can park your RV here. They got shower, toilet, laundry
Right.
stuff, and they got a full workshop, hoist. You know, all the space in the world. Like, and they got a test road out the front, which is private. It's a legitimate private road. Like they own it. So I'm like,
I was going to ask about that, the test road. Like,
Legitimately
is it just
Mexico.
like their garage, right? You're looking out of their garage. There's like a road that's like cambered, and then it seems to be like a cornfield or like something.
yeah.
Two Australians like explaining it.
Are they in the middle of like nowhere?
it's
where,
like in the
no
middle
one
of a
gives
cane
shit what
field.
they do? Or,
Yeah.
like, is that their road?
Yeah,
or like,
it's
does
like-
it go with that?
If you're from
'Cause they do skids all the time, it seems like.
You're from Cairns, right?
Yeah.
So you know, like Gordonvale
Yep.
sort of area.
Like the country sort of style.
Off the highway, it's all
Yep.
cane,
Yep.
and you've got little roads and stuff, and you've got
Yep.
houses.
Which the farmers would use.
Yeah.
And, yep.
So it's essentially that they've got
Okay.
a shed, and then they've got it's literally the old interstate highway, which just ends because it's no longer in use. But that is part of their land.
So they own that whole area.
Yeah,
So no one can come to them and be like, hey, you're fucking around on...
they could like the cops could be like, oh, you know, we got a few complaints, whatever. There is a business
Yeah.
about a kilometre away, which do get
But it
they get the
is...
smoke going over there and that. But like
But it is like private
for
land.
all intents and purposes, for what we're doing,
It's private land in
Yeah.
a way, and they can do whatever they want.
yeah,
Because I saw Hinchy was just... He's like, oh yeah, our sand barrier is gone now. Like in the
yeah,
last
with
like
the
2 weeks or
the
whatever.
corn.
Because of like the corn's
corn
like
got
getting harvested.
harvested.
And he's like,
Yeah.
there goes our sand barrier.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, what's the sand
right,
barrier
yeah.
protecting? Because it seems to be like in some videos you can see like cars driving past like in the distance.
That's the interstate.
But that's the interstate. So there are people like just hooting past, and you guys are fucking around
Yeah.
doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
On that road,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
great.
technically theirs.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say,
fucking
that's
great.
awesome.
Right, it looks like the best. It looks like
From
the best
fucking-
thing ever.
It's like the place you want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
test your car. They've got all the workshop facilities.
Yeah.
They've got a really good tuner there. Brad, Daddy Brad. He actually lives down in Arizona, but he comes up for the harvest season.
Okay.
But he tunes LSX motors
Oh right.
as like a side thing. But he's like a gun. Like all these really high-powered turbo cars. You know, blowers.
Right.
All different ECUs.
Because I've seen
stuff
some things
like
on
that.
it being like, yeah, this dude's a mad tuner and fucking...
Well, he tuned Jacko's new setup,
Yeah.
you know, tuned that. And
Over there. Yeah, right.
Over there. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah, it was just the perfect place. Jack's like, man, you need to get here. So I rocked up there at like 1 a.m. Jack's like standing out front. I'm like, because this is the first time I've ever met Jack,
Yeah.
ever. He's like, hey man, how's it going? I was like, dude, like, bang, like, how's it going? He shows me his car.
Big dapper.
And like his car is in the same, if not like worse nick than mine. Like the things are hoopty, right? And I'm like, this is this is my guy. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's how I do things.
Yeah.
Right?
I've never met him, but he seems like a really nice
Dude,
guy.
It's like a barn
Yeah.
build. Fucking, how you going?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
everything's like suits a purpose. It doesn't matter how it looks. It's like if it does its job well, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And I resonate with that a lot.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You don't, and that proves too. You don't have to spend all the money.
Yeah.
Like I think you're saying, like his setup he's got in now is like a stock 5.3
Yeah.
with a blower on it, like a side mount blower.
Gen 4 LC9.
Yeah,
Stock rebuild. It's got a small cam in it.
but there you go. Like it's
Yeah.
not a big dollar build,
No.
and Jack fucks with the best of them.
Yeah.
It's also his driving style, but like
Yeah.
the motor and shit will do what
He
it wants
loves
to do because of like
gnarly.
it's just
And his previous motor was a friggin' Gen 3
Yeah.
LS1 on 10 pound, and it did like 200 plus skids.
yeah. You can't argue with that shit.
At all. Yeah.
Like, and everyone's like, oh, LS. It's like, prove LS wrong when you can have a guy that does 200 plus skids on a stock motor with a side mount blower.
Yeah.
Like, tell me LSs aren't good.
And he
Or-
has
or,
he has
you
like
know,
a
like-
lot of
Knowledge.
like yeah, essentially knowledge. Like things that he does when he builds motors, just little rules and stuff like that he follows to mitigate the risk of using the stock components, and
Yeah.
proof's in the pudding. And he knows like far more than I in terms of building engines and stuff like that. And he was really valuable for me because like I think he's like 10 years younger than me, but he's
I
so
think
far
he's
ahead.
I think
of
he's
me.
fucking a year younger than me, bro.
I think
It's
he's
like early
24.
20s.
He's a
yeah.
year younger than me, bro.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah, where's your knowledge, dude? Fucking hell.
All in V6s, brother. All in V6s.
Jack,
But-
if you're listening, you ain't shit, bro. Like you need to do that.
But even
You're on a
even,
holiday, bro. So
even
just calm
Jacko,
down.
like,
but
you-
no, that's it.
you look at Jacko's Lux, right? Like he was building a name for himself in Australia. Like he was
Yeah.
going places. Like everyone talked about Jacko.
Yeah,
And everyone wanted to. He was like the young version of Lynchy's driving style.
yeah,
So he built a name for himself very quickly in this country
Mm.
of being like, he is the new driving style. He's the new guy. He's
That-
going to be the new it.
That
Yeah.
one skid
And
at
then-
Summernats.
Yeah, the one. Yeah,
That one skid at Summernats,
Yeah.
the NA skid where he just went
flicked
fucking
it around, hit the
shoot
bin on
to
the
shoot.
way out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Yeah,
But
that was mad.
that's all it takes, right? It's like one skid
Yeah.
where you're like, oh fuck, you're it, or
Yeah.
you're about to be it, and then he
Yeah.
goes, I'm sending my shit to America.
Yeah,
It's like fuck, man, you're like to
fully
me,
committed to
like
like,
he was at the purpose, like,
crazy.
he was at the point
Good
of
on
being
him.
like, you could be it in this
Good
country.
on him. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, like I could be, but I'm gonna go to America and fuck around over there.
Dude,
Props
we
to
went
him.
to that first. So we met up at Zombie Garage, did a few bits and pieces. I turned the motor up.
To
swimming up, yeah.
83.
To,
Did a little test skid out the front. I'm
Way
like,
too much.
I believe it didn't fucking have one, but
it rubbed
anyway.
through the top radiator hose, so we cut the test skid short. And I think if we kept going, it would have blown up. But I put it on the trailer. I'm like, yeah, like she's running. Happy days. She can handle it.
Loves all the RPM.
8,300.
Oh, my
Stock
God.
4.8 lives to tell another.
Oh,
tale.
my God.
And so then we went to, we got in contact with Adam Kelly, who's like an American skidder, who's actually coming over here like early next year.
Hell yeah.
Really awesome guy. Him and his brother.
Boosted ride.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boosted Ride.
Yeah.
Adam and Jason Kelly.
Yeah.
And they helped me out so much. All the methanol I've put through Cuddles on that entire trip is all thanks to Adam. He's just rocked up to events and just bought an extra drum for me, you know,
Oh fuck.
bit of cash. So he's hooked up all the methanol for me for that entire trip. So,
Wow.
you know, and
That's awesome.
countless other things that he's helped out with. But he was like, look, there's this little event on in Wisconsin, Motor Mania, and he's like, it's just a little sort of small local event, but there is a cash prize. I think it's $2,000 or $3,000 US. He's like, you should come along. You know, the judging's not what you used to, like in Australia. Like the judging was.
You
just-
catch on fire, you win.
I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you about the judging side of it because America seems like, from what I've learnt from like social media, like talking to you and stuff, and a few other boys, it's like you're allowed to hit a wall, but you can't move the wall.
Yeah, well, that was the case
Like-
at Cletus.
So that's how like some and people
You can
that
hit the wall.
Yeah.
No points
What?
get deducted.
Yeah.
If you just tag it.
But if you
But if you hit it
shift
so
the
hard
wall,
that you move the concrete block,
then it's an issue.
yeah. Then
Because
it's
they're I know they're starting out, and like obviously it's not a sport built like Australia has.
yeah.
But the judging and the Australians that are over there at the moment have had to get used to. Like,
Yeah.
it's very showmanship at the moment in
yeah.
America,
Way
which
more.
we all know.
It's
Australians love
fire.
Australians love showmanship, but like we have like rules that we've grown up with. Like,
I'll give
I've
you
been
one
doing this shit for a long
one
time.
example. I can tell you right now, all the spectators love a good tyre fire, but it completely fucks your skid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Whereas
not-
over
it's not-
there,
it's-
it's,
it's
like
not
if you can
competitive.
tag a wall and you just tag it, but you don't move it,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Over
They
here,
see that as
over
well,
here, they're
pushing
like,
the limits and taking
Yeah.
it to the
Yeah,
extreme.
no
whereas over
shit,
here, they're
yeah.
like, no, you've gone
Over
too
here,
far.
It's like, no, you've hit the wall.
So
It's
it's
like,
way
So
too different.
I would have won the skids on that Wednesday night by
Catching fire, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Crowd
That'd be-
pleaser.
crowd
yeah.
would've gone
Crowd
off,
pleaser, mate.
Yeah,
I was a crowd
You're-
pleaser, yeah, but
you've burnt your hand, you've got yourself in all sorts, and then
But
just like,
that's-
yeah, brother.
but that's the difference over
It was
there. Is
still
like
fun.
the whole the showmanship thing is like way different to the Australian side of it. It's like
Oh,
we've
it's
built
so
the
different
sport on being
ballgame,
like this
yeah.
is what the ground sort of judging is,
Yeah.
and now they've taken that being like, okay, we'll take some of your judging criteria, but we also want to see a spectacle.
Yeah.
So we want to see some risks involved. So we want to
yeah,
see some
we want
fucking
to see the
dangerous shit.
diesels fucking.
So yeah, when they and like
Blowing up.
Australians see them nudging up against a wall and just blowing
Yep.
your set. Australians like
Exactly.
that's never going to happen here. You
No
want to win a
way.
thing, but Americans like, well, the crowd likes to see it, so why the
Yep.
fuck not? It's like that's the difference at the moment of
And
the
spewing
Australian
flames
to
out the back and
Australian
shit like
to
that and-
American
yeah.
side of it is they're not
Mm.
solely bent on, but they are massively bent on the showmanship side.
Yeah.
And I think
Definitely.
the Australians that have gone over there now to have to realise, oh, there's a showmanship side that they want to see. You can do a textbook Australian skid and not win over there.
Nah,
Because
it
they're like,
wouldn't
no,
be-
you didn't.
they-
You
yeah.
weren't risky. You didn't rub a wall. It's like, I don't want to fucking rub a wall because I'm going to paint a bumper.
Yeah,
or
it was the
whatever.
best. Yeah.
Whereas they're like, rub the wall, dude. Scratch your bumpers. Don't move the wall, but rub it. Like
Yeah, shit.
it's different.
Yeah.
Is that what you experienced? Like the difference in that? Like, did you see that? Like,
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I think I said it at Power Cruise when they asked me like, oh, like what's the difference? And I'm like, the best way to put it is Australian skids. Let's just say Summernats, Burnout Masters, Summernats is the finale. It has been for 36 years or whatever, and now it's Pro Burnouts, whatever. But
Yeah.
same thing. It's the
Pinnacle.
the pinnacle, yeah.
That skid that's going to win that, you would describe it as like ballet. Like looking at the skid and just watching it, it's just everything's just perfectly executed.
Yep.
You know, the nutting the entry, nutting the exit. You know, everything is just, you're meant to be there.
So
You
in
put it in the
control,
corner, you're just
full-
you're
yep.
crop dusting the corner and coming back around. No on and off the brake. Your
Yeah.
throttle's like just pinned at like whatever, $8,000, $9,000, whatever these winning cars are fucking doing, $7,000, whatever. And it's just a perfect skid.
Yeah.
All right. You watch all the Burnout Masters winners from the last 10 years, 15
Oh,
years.
same
and
deal, yeah.
You just go, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
It's just the perfect skid. You do that over in the US, like, yeah, it's good. It's going to do really well. But if you tweak an extra 10% on there in terms of going that little bit further with the craziness,
Yep. Bit of a rack.
you'll
bad.
win
Yep.
in the US. The US is more like breakdancing, whereas like that's the difference. Ballet versus breakdancing.
Breakdancing.
Oh.
Breakdancing's loose. It's like
Yep.
everyone's got their own style,
Yep.
right? And like you said, pushing it to the limits is rewarded. Whereas in Australia, it's like push it to this certain limit.
Yeah.
But don't go past that.
But there's a
Yeah,
cap.
you
There's
don't
a
wanna
cap
see-
on that
yeah,
There's
limit.
a cap. Don't
Yeah.
hit a wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
God forbid you hit a wall, or you cross the invisible line at the end, or
Yeah.
like whatever.
Don't
Like go out
hit
of
the
bounds.
limiter a million times.
Yeah, don't hit
Yeah.
the limiter. Like, but man, Jacko goes to this little show in Wisconsin and is like, the crowd are like, the crowd have never seen that
Yeah.
in their
Fuck
life.
yeah.
The crowd don't know what's just hit him. Like Jack comes second to Adam Kelly in Boosted Ride at that show, and absolutely well deserved. Like,
Hell yeah.
he can get the crowd going like no other. Like, gives me goosebumps just talking about it.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
I've seen
But
him skid. It's
you
just
need
fucking
you need that
ridiculous, man.
you need that Nelson Granger
Yep.
type style.
Nelson
Where over here
Perfect.
it gets pinned for certain things.
You're going too fast. There's
Yeah.
not as much smoke. Not quite as much smoke as the other guy who's
Yeah.
going 20 k's an hour slower on the
Yeah.
tip in. Like
Yep.
keeping that.
But over
volume.
there,
But
they're
over
like,
there,
nah,
they're
we want
"Oh my
entertainment.
God."
Entertain the crowd, you'll fucking win.
Dude, the American crowds are just different.
Yeah.
The culture's different. They get hyped up. They're really they got the sports and stuff over there. They're just it's the same thing
Just
with
super
burnouts. It's
hyped
like
with all that. Yeah, just want to.
guys are just like, oh my god, like they just can't get enough of it.
I remember you sent me the video of like the anthem before the event started.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And it was like, I saw it from your
The
view. I saw it
national
from,
anthem at
Yeah.
Cletus.
And-
Holy.
and like the crowd was like chanting. The crowd was singing the anthem, and then they
Yeah.
were fucking. So the crowd were amped up that much from just the anthem before the event even started, where it's like you'd think you just watched a Burnout Master win the Burnout Masters like there in person.
And that was just
Like, that's-
what
but-
American anthem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I hadn't even seen a skid yet. But that's how fucking jacked up they
And
were.
they're so
Bloody oath!
respectful of
Make America
the
great
flag
again. Let's go.
And what
Yeah.
the anthem
And I remember, like,
represents.
I saw your video, then you see, like, Hinch's video, and, like, he looked at you, and you all got, like, goosebumps. You're like, the crowd is just different.
They're
like,
just in.
they're so patriotic.
yeah,
They're like,
yes.
And then, like, then they, got,
20,000 people just like.
then they got the fireworks going
Fire.
off. Like, yeah, like,
Hell yeah.
as Cletus does, like, the tip in, like,
Cletus
the
tips
fireworks
it in.
go.
They got the red, white, and blue.
And it's all the American flag, like,
oh,
all that sort of shit.
Man.
Like,
give
they,
him the trophy.
yeah.
Bloody oath! That's so
Man.
sick.
Yeah.
Like, I feel patriotic
It's
Hey,
so
right
much
now.
of a show.
Yeah.
It's so
That's-
much more
yeah.
of a show than just like we're here to watch burnouts. We're
Yeah.
here to watch the style of the person, and we're going to nitpick
Yeah.
points and stuff, and it's really focused on that.
Yeah.
In the US, it's more about the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to have the skill, which great for us because
Yeah.
we've come from that culture where
Got the skill.
You have the
to.
skill.
someone, even someone like me who's barely done that many skids, like I've not really done too much in the big scheme of things, but I know what the Australian style is like, at least it's in the back of my head.
Yeah.
But I can let loose a bit more
Yeah.
and still have that in the back of my mind. I still need to hit my corners. I still need
Yeah.
to do a good skid and keep the RPMs up and all that. But I can let loose a bit.
Yeah.
Man, it's like...
And you need to put on the show, though. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck,
That's- yeah.
Damo would go off over there.
Yep.
Yeah, someone like, yeah.
He's
he's
like-
Damo,
like-
Nelson,
Yep.
the guy that drives super fast, which over here you get pinned for, like your volume of smoke drops down because you're going too fast, right?
Damo would
Which- that's the
never win
Australian
anything
style.
because he's just like, well, Lynchy won some of that last year.
Damo doesn't skid for scores.
No,
Damo skids
he-
to skid.
Exactly.
He doesn't-
And that's
he
what I'm
doesn't skid
saying.
for
Like,
points.
but I mean, I was just watching him like on the main straight last night. 720, another 720.
Yeah.
Stop, back 720. Like I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Hell. In America, they would love this shit.
Yeah. Whereas over here, it's like the faster you're going, the less smoke you're producing, so you lose points.
Exactly.
On
Yep.
the volume and the constant smoke, which makes sense, right? It's
And depending
it's
on
just-
how much limiters in there, it's like...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Like
and-
driver's
Yeah.
control. Even though you're arguably really in control
Yeah.
because you're sending it.
Because
Yeah.
it's
And
so
keeping
fast
it-
Yeah.
as well.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
But
you're losing
over
points
there,
'cause
it's
limiter and
rewarded because you're going so crazy.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
and again,
Damo
like the
would
ones who just
fucking
go,
go nuts.
the ones who do like
Win
a
everything.
good skid, and just go, there's the wall, fucking bang, and they'll blow the set in front of the crowd, and the
Dude.
crowd's like screaming at them.
Yeah.
Over here,
That's
you're
one
like,
thing I got to do before
like, you're
I
DNF'd,
bring the car back.
yeah.
I got to do that.
I remember
Nose
rocking
it
that.
up and just
Yeah.
blow the tires off.
Like the last
Yeah,
time
I
I
ain't
was,
painting it though.
like the last time I was at Rocky Nats, my mate Coop was like yelling at me. He's like, stop, 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 stop. And I stopped, and the wall was like 2 foot in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck. So I had to reverse, which you're losing points for stopping, reversing, blah, blah, blah. So that was in the States. Bumper on the wall, and you're banging the set regardless.
Well,
And
Paddy,
then you're driving off being like, yeah, sweet.
Yeah,
like,
right.
with,
Yeah.
Because over there, like,
Batlin, he stopped for like a solid minute in the middle of the pad at Cletus, and I think he come like second.
yeah.
So
was he
that's
just
like-
waiting for like the smoke to clear, or like,
Yeah, I think something happened. Something happened with the back of the car. I can't quite remember. But yeah, yeah, that was the skid. I got the tires off in 38 seconds
yeah,
Fucking hell.
because it was like really rough compound, and it was
Yeah.
that new 5.3. It was making like a squillion horsepower. Like,
but yeah, also
awesome.
yeah, the texture you're skidding on was like way different.
yeah,
Yeah.
but we got the tires off in 38 seconds, and because it's a Cletus event, he's still got that minute rule
Yeah.
in there, so he still wants it out there for at least.
Which is what he's taking from Australia
Yeah.
when he come over here.
yeah. So he's
Yeah.
got a mix of like Australian rules
Yeah.
and then his own flair on
like
it,
flare. Yeah, yeah.
which is sweet.
Which, yeah.
So it just goes to show, Paddy stopped in the middle of the pad for like over a minute. Well, it was about a minute, whatever, and then finished the skid and drove off and come second.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So they don't care so much on like, oh yeah, stop, see where you are, or whatever's
Yeah.
happening, or if there's a small
Check
fire,
the
whatever,
car, or like if
put the
something's
fire
going
out,
on, it's like, yeah,
keep going, happy days.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, skid continues,
Yeah.
like keep going, yeah.
yeah.
Which I
Whereas
think,
if that happened in Australia, you may
Yeah.
as well just drive off, man.
Oh,
yeah,
If you
or
get off it,
yeah,
Screwdriver comes out.
or
the
you
back
do what
end.
you do what a few other guys do. You reverse back to the start, and you're like, we're going again, but it's going to be fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to go, and there's nothing. Yeah. So I feel like they've taken a lot from Australia, judging wise, but
Yeah.
also we could probably take a little bit from them as like. I feel like we've
That's
built
showmanship,
we built
maybe.
this
That's a way to put it.
Yeah.
we built this strict rules of being like, this is it, this is the rules, there's no ifs, no buts, which is good if you're a competitor because you know exactly where you are no matter what happens, right? I know if you stop and you reverse, you know you're down on points.
But we all want to
Don't get a
fucking
tire off.
loose.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
don't get a tire off, down on points. Catch fire, down on points, whatever. In America, you could do what Pat with Batlin did, stop, then continue skidding, still get the tires off, have an entertaining skid. The crowd goes, fucking
and
A.
fuck, like,
That
it
was
was a good
sick.
skid. That
Yeah,
thing
and it'd still be a good
makes
skid.
a lot of power. It's
Yeah.
got smoke out
Like,
the freaking ass.
yeah, you had a little bit in the middle, but
Yeah.
nothing was wrong. You just waited.
I think he
And then
thought
you-
something was wrong with like the
you-
rear end or something.
yeah.
I think he got out to check it and got back in. Just
Yeah, and then your
Hook the
skid
tires
continues.
and
So
off
the
you go.
the
Like-
judge is like, all right, skid continues,
Yeah.
happy days, just
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
And then the whole crowd's like, fucking A, this is great. And then at the end of it, they're like, you got second.
And I'm not advocating
Because-
for people stopping in the middle of their skid, by the way, but I'm just saying that that's like a
It's the
Yeah, but-
difference.
yeah.
It's, yeah. Which is,
With-
that's what I've noticed from watching everything. It's like, I picked up very early because I was watching it and I was like, well, I think everyone thought Australians are going to dominate.
yeah.
It's a sport that we built.
Yeah.
So how can
It
we,
felt that way.
how
When we
can
were
we-
over there,
yeah.
we're like,
how can we
We
go over
run
there?
this
Yeah.
shit.
yeah,
Like,
pretty
sort of-
much.
How
yeah.
can we go over there and not be first, second, third, fourth, fifth?
Yeah.
As many Australians as there were, how can we not get the whole top 10 if there's 10 Australians? I feel like that's how a lot of Australians thought. So we're going to go over there and it's going to get every
But-
trophy there is. But then when
In the back of my mind, I knew I wasn't going to be at the top, but I
Yeah.
thought that.
you'd be in the mid pack or whatever, like fourth, fifth, whatever, right? And then
I
when
actually
it,
thought you'd be in the top. But yeah.
but then when it wasn't happening, it was like, well, why aren't Australians winning? And then when they were saying, oh, the judging criteria isn't quite like what you think, you can rub a wall, just don't move it. You can go
what
beyond
the
the start
fuck?
line and come back. Happy days. You can do things that Australia doesn't allow you to do. As long as it's exciting, fucking let's go.
Man, Cletus was like standing
Like-
on the pad when people were skidding,
Yeah,
which is like a
fucking
little bit
psycho.
loose.
Yeah,
Oh.
which is
When I was coming
crazy.
up, in
He's
my-
so loose.
In my skid at Connecticut, I'm coming back up the entry chute. I'm about to turn around, and there's the guy, like the start guy with the thing on. He's just standing there in the middle of the thing, like quite close to the end of the thing.
You're like,
And I was
bruh.
like coming at him, and I'm like, "You need to move. You need to move." And he was just standing there, like, "What are you gonna do?"
I'm about to
I'm
hit
like,
you,
"Get out the way,"
motherfucker.
because I was gonna go right down and
Turn
be a
around.
menace.
Yeah.
You know, and throw it in at fucking 50 mile an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and he just stood there like a friggin' statue, and I was like, "Fuck!" Now I've got to like, and I hooked it around. You know, probably crop dusted him on the way through.
Yeah,
just-
but he was still
should've,
standing there.
yeah.
I was like, dude,
I have
you
noticed
never
that,
see that in Australia.
Yeah,
You know
I have
what mean?
noticed that too. Like even some of the announcers, like when they're announcing you, and they're like, and you as you're starting skidding over here, they're like still walking off the pad, or they'll
Yeah,
jump
well,
up
that
on the
happened
wall, and you're like, you're still there.
That
Like,
happened at
they're-
Motormania.
They're right there.
They were like that first show we went to with Jack and that. We went there. They're like, "Oh, we really want to keep the show going. So like, as soon as the gates close behind you, go. Like,
fuck.
like just go." So I pull in. I'm like looking in the rearview mirror.
Ready to...
Quick scan out on the pad. There's nothing there. There was.
Yeah,
There's a person there, but
I
didn't
remember.
see
Yeah, I
him.
remember this video. Yeah,
And I'm like looking. All I'm looking in is my rearview mirror, and as soon as they close it, I'm on
Fuck.
top gear, and I come out of the chute, and I'm gonna go right hand down, and as I come around, I'm like locking eyes with old mate, and he's just like, and I'm like, what are you doing on the pad? Like,
Holy
bro.
shit.
Was that him not talking to them, or were you okay doing what you did, or was he in the wrong spot, or did you go?
Look,
like,
to be
honest,
honest, it's always probably going to be on
on
me.
you. Yeah,
I probably should have checked the pad before I went tipping in.
yeah.
No,
But he
no.
shouldn't have been there
Miscommunication.
if they closed the gates as well. So it's kind of like a 50-50, I
Man,
guess. Like,
so I was just going on what I was told.
Yeah,
All that was
yeah.
in my head was as soon as those gates close,
yeah, go for it. Yeah, yeah.
Because you want the crowd's going, oh,
Yeah,
you know, it's like we're one of the two
Foot to the
Australians
floor,
there.
let's go.
Yeah.
cunt.
We want
Yeah.
to keep the show rolling. Like that's part of the show
Yeah.
over there. It's like there's no
Fuck
downtime. There's no intermission. It's just bang, 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 bang.
yeah, yeah.
Keep the
Momentum going. Like,
yeah.
Keep the energy high, keep
Yeah.
the entertainment
But old
high.
mate was
like-
out on the pad and he was like going to do this big introduction. He's like, oh, you know, this is Kieran, this is Cuddles.
and you're like,
Come all
fucking...
this way.
Next minute,
And
Here's-
I was like, what?
fucking 8-3.
You're like, I am
8-3.
Kieran. Yeah, you're like, I am Kieran. This is Cuddles. I'm coming.
I'm
And
yeah,
fucking-
and luckily he got off. Like, luckily nothing happened.
Jesus.
But, man, it could have been bad. And then the motor blew up, and that was the end of that. So
Ryan did say it would rev to 8-3 once.
It'll
Yeah,
do
wasn't
it.
that-
It'll,
right.
what you're saying, it'll do it till it doesn't.
Yeah.
yeah, didn't Jay
I
Chuntai, Tiny Towing, he posted that. He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
it'll do
like,
it
It'll do it
till
till
it
it
doesn't.
doesn't.
And then when I blew it up, he's like, it'll do it. I was like, bro, not the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Right now.
Oh, God.
We had Cletus in 2 weeks.
Oh,
I'm like, I need
my
to get a
God.
motor together.
That was so
yeah. Like I
fucking
don't want to hear
hectic.
about that shit right
Fuck
now.
yeah, no.
But
You
you're like,
poor
but it will
bastard.
do it till it doesn't.
I don't think look, that much RPM, yeah, definitely wouldn't be great for it, but I don't think that's what killed it. You went into that skid with a misfire. I reckon it just hydro locked it when you pulled it back to fucking first.
Yeah,
So I'm a watcher. I don't say a whole lot, but I watch and I
Yeah.
listen. And as soon as
Yeah.
you hit the loud pedal on that skid, I'm like, it's got a misfire. You're gonna kill it,
Mm-hmm.
and you did.
Oh.
It was bogging top gear. So what does he do? He doesn't lift. He pulls it back a gear.
Yeah. Literally, that's exactly what happened.
That's what I kept. It's what I kept saying to Damien. I'm like, yeah, it probably would have killed it at 8,300, but not that quick. I reckon you would have got a few comps out of it first.
Oh yeah. So his
You,
driving
you,
styles.
you got that much methanol going through a cylinder that's not firing.
Yeah.
and he's gone.
Pulled it back a fucking gear
yeah.
because it was bogging.
Still foot flat.
Look, I'm not
Kieran
saying
already knows he
I'm not
needs a
saying that
fucking
the
accelerator
RPM
limit.
wasn't what caused it, but I don't think it was that quickly. I reckon
Yeah.
it would have done a few skids at that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You watch him way more than me. I watched I heard the revs, and you could and actually
and,
in that
Ryan's
skid you could
listened
hear
to
it.
it
You could
too.
hear it revving, and then you heard it just go wing like a little bit more, and you're
It's
like,
like he
oh,
hit
like,
neutral.
there it's
No,
still
like,
like yeah.
it was
He might as well. He fucking pulled the
Labouring
comeback.
top, it was
Yeah.
at 5.5,
right,
6,
yeah.
and I was like, this ain't it.
yeah.
Second gear. What? I was like, here we go. Oh, we're on it.
There you go.
I was like, ah.
Yeah. You're like, and yeah. You're like, and no more.
It was fucking funny.
Oh,
So,
God.
Yeah. Which I'm pretty sure everyone, if you listen to it, you hear it. You hear it go,
Oh,
and you hear
yeah.
it go.
That's what I thought.
I was watching the live stream and I screen recorded and sent it to him. I'm like, as soon as he hit the loud pedal, I'm like, please don't. Please fucking don't. I already knew where this was heading.
Well,
So I'm sure we're well into. Like,
Yeah,
at least
we're-
almost-
we're-
We are fucking an hour.
Hopefully
40,
you guys are
45
enjoying it.
hour, 50
yeah,
in.
we're just talking shit.
You
at the
better
moment.
be.
But so
But,
we're speaking about what it was, what it was like to get there. You've been there, you've done it now, you've done a few months. You got a trip coming up. As we're filming right now, it's Friday night. You're about to leave tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So you got 24 hours, not even left in the country.
Yeah, got to pack.
You're about
Yep.
You got to go home and pack yet. You're about to go back to America again, do it all over again.
Yeah.
But now you've got, so now you know what to expect. You know what it's like. You know what you have to fix
little bit easier.
in the bounder to get it ready.
Nothing.
You've also got, she's fucking ready to go. You've got Cuddles is good to go. The boys put a heat soak in it the other day. We saw them. They didn't skid
Yeah.
it, fucking pussies, but I thought they were going to. But anyway, or they may not
They
be.
may have.
There may not
maybe
be
they'll show
footage.
me when they get there. Like,
Yeah. Jacko's like,
Nah,
actually.
they would have posted.
Yeah.
They
I
would
was
post
waiting for a
it, yeah.
footage of like Jacko being like, we banged sets. Like,
Yeah.
but anyway,
yeah.
I'm
And I'm
surprised.
sorry that we've.
Yeah. I'm that, and honestly, I'm that kind of friend. You can't leave me in a country where you're not in with your car because that's not fucking happening.
Oh, it's not gonna happen.
Like I am banging a set at least,
The
and then I'm messaging
amount
you
of
like,
fucking
yeah, bro.
The amount
Like-
of fucking tires I blew when Kieran had his car at my work. Oh my god. He has no idea, but
Just
Jesus.
Videos
Throw a
he'll
set
never
on,
see.
just rah, rah, rah,
Yeah,
gone.
just videos he'll never. That's like it's so dirty. I thought we were cleaning. Like it keeps getting dirty. I don't know why.
I don't know why all that rubber's back on there.
But
what are all those sets over there? Oh, I don't know.
yeah, he did say he had like 10 sets sitting there. But
Did.
so you're going back tomorrow.
Yeah.
When you land, it's a whole new trip. You
Yeah.
got a whole new event ready to go. Let's talk about that quickly before we wrap it up.
Well, one of the biggest
Give
things
us a
on that
quick
first
yeah.
event, well, the first trip, was the lack of reliability on cuddles, which, you know, I went in there and I thought, I had this whole mindset where I was like, I need to do crazy stuff, like rev the shit out of it. I need to, you know, rush it to get it together, get a motor together for an event and take shortcuts, which bit me in the ass. And now we've got a completely dead stock 4.8 in it with Brian Tooley valve springs, and I shimmed the oil pump. So that's it. That's all it's done to this motor.
How much PSI run?
10 pounds of boost on this one. So we got this giant top pulley, which looks like we're running no boost, but because it's an 871,
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
and because it's a stock motor with stock cam
And a 4.8.
and a
Yeah.
4.8, like it's got all that air and it's going into a smaller chamber, whatever, blah blah blah, and there's cam's not letting in as much as the bigger cam would, so it's got a fair bit of boost there.
Excuses.
And that's my base. That's my reliable base. And if I can get through this whole trip with that thing just living as it is, I'll be happy. And that's my aim.
Happy
is
days.
To aim for
Rev living at
reliability.
like 7?
It's at 65 at the moment.
Yep.
And I'm going to leave it there.
Man.
I was gonna say
fuck
it'll
yeah.
stay at 65. Right?
No, it'll stay at 65 because
sweet.
dead set. The biggest thing I realised is
Throttle
that
control.
that mindset of
He
going
has
there,
done.
trying to be crazy,
Yeah.
trying to do all this stuff is actually not beneficial at all. Like,
Trying to rev
I
your
don't
LS
regret
like a
it.
Holden.
Yeah,
I don't regret it, but also
it's not liable for like that.
Yeah,
long.
I can't sustainably and reliably keep putting motors in this thing. Like,
Yeah.
It's just not economically viable. It's not
Oh,
mental health, all that stuff. You're
Everything.
putting in late nights.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just
you want
sucks.
reliability and just...
At some, as reliable as a skid car can be, like you want to be as reliable
Yeah.
as possible. Like
So
we
I'm-
all do. Like,
You already
Starting
know how
from
to
the
drive, so...
I'm
Yeah.
starting from the very bottom, and I'm going to stay there until I can do something that I can step up
Build
and then
on, yeah.
make that reliable, you know. And I'll be very judicious with how I do that this time. So, because the biggest thing I think I dropped the ball on from that last trip was the amount of content that I didn't put out because I was so in deep with trying to fix this thing and worrying about the RV and worrying about the car and just everything, man. The money, like, you know, blowing motors and like, wow, where are we going to get this motor from? And then you need to buy the tools to get it together and like,
It'd be so tough, dude.
dude, it sucked. And
Yeah.
so for
Another
this trip,
country, like, fucked.
I've got a plan on content. We've got some awesome shows and events coming up. We're going to SEMA. We've got Cletus's in Florida. We've got another one that you'll see. It's the first one we're going to. So I'm flying into Zombie Garage. I've got some maintenance stuff I'm going to do, and I'll be doing my first YouTube video there. And then we'll be going to this next event, and then we're going to SEMA, and then we're going to Cletus's. And Cletus's, you know, it's just, like I said, the universe is speaking to me, and now I'm going to be commentating Burnout Rivals at the Cletus event, which is like freaking crazy.
Yeah, bro.
Hell fucking
Yeah, let's
like,
go.
Let's go.
Can we
I
get a
didn't-
fucking let's go?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. I didn't think that would be a thing for me to do, but now after doing a few in Australia, like Ryan Cobb's event, Octane, we did the Holden vs Ford day at Lakeside. He's like, "Are you free to go on the mic? Like, I can't get a hold of the regular guy. Like, are you available?" I literally dropped what I was doing, cancelled my plans. I was like, "I'll be there."
Cancelled work, everything.
Yeah, dude, I was like, I'll be there.
Cancelled the Coles shift straight there.
Yeah.
Dude, I was going to go
Shout
to
out
work
Coles.
as a TA for one of my mates. It was going to be like $80 an hour, and I was just like,
Fuck.
I was like, I don't care. I'm
Where at?
Damn.
Just asking
Yeah.
for a mate. Where's that?
No, that's commitment.
shout out
bro.
to Reese.
What a mad cunt.
Yeah, so now you're commentating Cletus's event, which is
Yeah.
huge.
Massive. And I was like,
Massive.
you know, and I fully plan on giving that my all, like really leaning into that. You know, I've got a bit of experience doing the YouTube stuff. Like I'm happy talking on a mic, blah, blah, blah. I know the cars, like this, especially the Aussie cars. And I'm really looking forward to that. Like that's going to be the highlight of the trip. And also because I'll be there, the car's going to be there. One of Jacko's mates, who's now my mate, Cameron Doyle, he owns a skid car called Wild One. He really helped me on that first trip as well, like behind the scenes, and he was just awesome, just one of the boys. He's already going to be at Burnout Rivals. And I was like, mate, you're skidding Cuddles. He's like, dude.
Oh, no.
So he's going to be skidding Cuddles, and
Yeah.
I'll be
You're
commentating.
announcing.
Oh,
Like,
sick.
I can't wait. You know what I mean? It's just going to be
that's
awesome.
awesome.
So,
I feel like
yeah.
Good on you. Fuck yeah.
everyone that owns a car wants to see their car skidded by somebody else with
Yeah.
them just watching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it was so good.
yeah.
When
Yeah.
Jack
It
skidded
fucking
it
nearly happened
at
with Fridays.
Zombie Garage, like, man, when I heard it from the outside, I'm
Yeah.
like, this is a dead stock 4.8, and it sounds like an animal.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds crazy.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's sick.
it probably doesn't, but like, I thought
It
it, just
does.
sounded
Yeah.
amazing.
I reckon
know what
you
mean?
need
I
to,
just loved it.
You need to put a set of X pipes on it like Damos. I reckon you'll get a bit of a crisp note out of it.
I do have the X pipe sitting in the
Yeah.
trailer.
Yeah, I remember
I think
it
just
on
because
it
you
makes
don't
fires
have
and stuff.
you don't have your big boost, big cammed, high comp motor
Yeah.
in it. I reckon you should stick a set of
Yeah.
X pipes
Yeah, I was
on it.
thinking about sticking them on.
Even a
So-
set of mufflers too. I don't know that fucking when we were at Summernats the year just gone, it might even been the one before. That fucking blown red BMW, it's like refined or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quiet as fuck, but it's just crisp, clean.
Yeah.
You can hear the blower
It's
from
refined.
fucking two. It
It
is.
is refined. Yeah.
It's what it lives up to the name. It is such a
Yeah.
cool. It's
I
probably.
know what you mean.
It's just so.
it definitely the exhaust definitely
Tim,
changes.
Tim Rumphy's car, it's got mufflers as well.
Same,
Yeah.
yeah.
It definitely changes the entire note of the
Oh,
car.
just
like,
especially at Summernats when you've watched 100 cars straight out the headers, just
Yeah.
smashing the two-step. You're like, okay, like
Yeah.
head's throbbing a little bit, and then a car like that comes out. You're like, that was fucking cool. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear myself think while watching the car, listen
that
to
white-
everything.
What's that white ute? The white Ford ute, skid ute.
Oh,
Yeah.
That thing,
Steve Edsels.
ridiculously loud.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
He's 4 from 4 leading into Summernats.
Yeah.
So we have like our group at Summernats has like a $50 wager thing that we
It's
do.
like a buy-in for the top
Buy-in,
10
yeah.
Masters.
So we all watch the Masters, and then we all on the Sunday, sorry, whatever the top 10 finalists are at Masters. Our Winginit group, has a $50 buy-in. Everyone chucks $50 in the hat, and you all pick a car who you think is going to win. And yeah, dude, watching Skid Ute last 4 events, take all of them leading into some of that. So I'm like, fucking, that's my money,
You got
dude.
your money on him, yeah?
And
Like I haven't yet, but I'm like looking at him, like looking
50 grand
like,
prize money.
yeah, looking
And
at
we're
him.
like,
It's
And it
it's
depends
stepping
on
up.
it depends on who takes you got to get there first. But like
Yeah.
if he's there, like Chris Orchard with like Game Over and shit's there, like it's a Rick Fuller LS1, like, that'd be my top 3. Robert Cottrell,
Full to
one for the
haters.
haters. Oh yeah, sorry, for
Jake
the haters.
Myers
like,
will be there.
Jake Myers, like those top 5, if they're all in there on the Sunday, take your fucking pick.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
I'd lay down $50 for all 5 of them and be like, I can't.
Yeah,
like,
I
I'm
can't
taking-
lose, baby.
Yeah,
We're regularly on the hill.
I'm
Every
gonna-
second skid will be like, give him the trophy.
I have no
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
paint it orange, paint it fucking flames, paint it this. Like, yeah,
Oh,
I'll
brother.
hedge my bets if I have to.
Fucking
Like,
rev it.
yeah,
Buy yourself a
Oh,
Commodore,
good
paint it
painter.
pink, and fucking rev it.
but yeah, you watch like
That
you
was
said, like
fucking
Skid
gold.
Ute revs through its fucking eyeball.
That thing's
Fuck.
And it
nasty,
sounds
dude.
insane.
I love
Yeah.
the way it sounds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from him,
yeah.
like 4 from 4 so far. Like fucking,
Yeah.
how do you not?
Fucking hell.
Like, yeah, if he puts it all together at someone that, fucking, how do you not give that?
Yeah.
to
I
him?
can't
yeah,
wait.
exactly.
I'm coming back, so I'm coming back. I'm only going for like 4 weeks, 20th of October to the 20th of November, and I'll be back. I'll be going to Summernats, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I don't know how I'm getting there. I don't know how I'm getting back.
Well,
Someone's car.
we're
I'll be in
fucking-
the-
Oh,
We're all
I'll be
fucking.
there.
We're driving, so
Yep. I'll be there. I can't wait. So
You better
yeah.
not bitch out.
I won't bitch you out.
I need to piss so bad.
All right, we'll probably wrap it up there.
Yep.
Craig's just gone for a leak, but
Yeah.
sure he doesn't mind if we just wrap it up.
Yeah, no, for sure we can start wrapping it up.
I'll wrap.
Final
I'll wrap,
thoughts,
son.
Andrew?
I just wish you the best, bro. I appreciate fucking you and
Just
love helping you out, and fucking your motivation really inspires me, and yeah, it's fantastic. And props off to you telling everyone else as well, like how to do things and helping them out.
Not gatekeeping.
Like a lot of people, like don't tell them, you know, you hide your fishing fucking spots and don't fucking tell some cunt. But you trying to help people out is, yeah, great.
Honestly, I had to
It'll
work
help
through that,
people out.
because at the start, especially at the start, I found myself working really hard and really, you know, trying super hard to like make sure I did it right and got all my ducks in a row. And then, you know, and especially at the start, I was a bit like, this is just being honest. I was like,
Oh, God, it would have been hard.
yeah, and, you know, I found out all this stuff and learned how to do stuff, and then, you know, I was like, I don't really know if I want to give this information out because of how much effort I'd put into it. But then I talked to like a few people about it, like Craig being one of them, and they just reminded me, they're like, bro, why are you doing this? Why are you here? And just remember, have people helped you out before? And like, I know you might be listening to me thinking, you know, Kieran, you're an asshole. It's like, but that's just genuinely what I was thinking.
No, it's
like,
hard. Like, you went
but
through the
now I'm
hard
like-
times. Like, that's it. Like,
yeah, and
it was hard to get everything sorted.
it was hard
like,
for me to just be like, yeah, all right, I'll just, you know, give this info out. Now I'm like fully on another wavelength with the whole thing. Like, I just want to pump out and be as much of a help that I can be to like anyone who wants to go and do this stuff.
That's mad.
You
That's
know, 'cause
awesome.
I was worried at the start. But it's just the whole journey of like growth through the whole thing, and I've definitely grown 100% in many ways from this trip, and that's the biggest thing that I want to like get across.
Yeah.
Is like,
Yeah.
I've grown so much, and now I'm like, it's changed my mindset on a lot of things just doing this trip. And
Yeah.
now when I go back for this next trip, I'm sure there'll be more.
The
Yeah.
first
I
trip
just
was
can't
so
wait.
hard on you. Like,
Yeah.
nothing's out of your reach right now.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah. We spoke about it heaps like before you went, and I remember those conversations of being like, you know, like you're doing all this stuff, being like, I'm planning this whole trip, I'm doing all this groundwork. You had other people messaging me like, hey, can I, like, you know, can you tell me like what you've done, or like, you know, can you give me like all the answers to the test basically? And I remember you being like, oh, like this is crazy, like I've done all this work. It's like, yeah, but you want to be the guy that helps somebody else.
Yeah.
Hell
Pay
yeah.
it forward to somebody else,
And
because
Kieran
somebody
does, yeah.
along the way
That's what
has
makes it mad.
paid it forward to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you pay it forward to somebody else, and the balls keeps on rolling.
Yeah.
And like, I get it. Like, yeah, you're going to America. Not too many people have done it. Like, yeah, who's going to give the answers? Like, who's going to help anybody, or is anybody going to help anybody else? You want to be that guy. It's like, I'll give all the
Definitely.
answers. This is how
Yeah.
you do it.
Yeah.
And I understand. Like, yeah, when you start, it's like you don't want to give the wrong answers. You don't want to tell
Yeah.
people like, oh, it's going to be all rainbows and sunshine, and it's not
because
for
it
them.
wasn't.
Yeah.
And then they look back and go, well, Kieran
Your
told us this
first time,
dream, and
like,
it's not the dream that Kieran told us. It's like,
Yeah.
I understand how you look at it that way too, but you also need to look at it as, which I told you, is like, yeah, think about being the guy who helps somebody else go and chase their dream, and when they do it and it comes out like great for them,
Yeah.
you're the guy at the start that went, like, you're the Kyle for them.
Literally, I was just
Exactly.
I was
If
just
you-
about to say it,
if
'cause
you can
Kyle
be
was
that-
for me.
If you can be
And I
that
think
for somebody
back, I'm
else,
like, man,
like,
how could I even think of not
But it's-
passing on information? But it's like,
but it's human. It's human to
so
think
good.
that way,
yeah,
and everyone, man,
it's
we
just
all
what
do
happened.
it.
I was just like,
It's yeah,
But I
we've
mean,
all-
even the mistakes or your journey that you've just
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
you know,
I
explained.
think it's very
like, that's
human
the
to be like,
best.
I feel like I'm doing all this stuff. Now someone's coming to like ask me for all the answers, like, oh,
Yeah.
and you want to like safeguard that. Like, that's human.
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone does it in their own certain way at some point in time.
I do regret it a little bit, because then I look back and I think of like how Kyle treated me.
Yeah.
Kyle was just so free with all
Open,
this
yeah.
information. He's just like, he genuinely really helped me. Like, I would not have done this trip without
Hell yeah.
Kyle's input,
Yeah.
especially at the start.
Shout
man.
out.
He was just every day. I was like, yo, what about this? What about this? What about
Yeah.
this? He's like,
That's
dude,
mad.
do this, do that, do this. Like,
Yeah. Well, now,
just such a big
yeah.
help, you know?
now, hopefully, like, doing this podcast and your own YouTube channel, like, other people can watch it, view it, and be like, all right, it is doable.
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be times that suck,
Yeah.
or there might be times that are hard, but I can do it. He did it. I can
Yeah.
do it, and you give out all the information
Yeah.
and help people do
And
it.
I will be doing that. Like,
And
But
we'll
that's
jump
what's
on board,
interesting.
yeah.
I've got this video planned, and it's how to get your car Australia to the US, all inclusive.
Yeah.
Mad.
From the start to the finish, what you need
Yeah.
to worry about, who you need to talk to, how you can book your own thing and not rely on anyone else if you want to go and book through a third party, or like you said, we've got Summer Nats coming up, you know, Power Crews are doing stuff like, but at least you know the
Let's send that
process
cars over.
from someone who's done it themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll be giving all that information out in a YouTube video. It's coming up. So
Yeah,
that's
100%.
and that's just the start. Then I'll
Yeah.
be doing all sorts
Hell
of
yeah.
other stuff just to help people.
Even the mistakes you've made,
yeah,
telling
Yeah.
other people
Yeah.
so they don't have to.
how I would do it if
Props
I was
off to
going to
you.
do it
Yeah,
again,
good
which
stuff,
I think
yeah.
would be really helpful.
Oh,
'Cause I've
definitely.
made all these mistakes, and it's like so you don't have to go and make the same ones.
Who does anyone else have to reach out to get that? Like, how do you find that information out unless it's from you? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's very hard to find someone that's actually gone to the States,
Yeah.
done this and done that.
Yeah, and willing to give up the
Exactly,
information
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Like
And I'm
Kyle
sure if,
and you
like,
are,
random
very
people message
forward
you
of,
if you
like,
put that video
It's
out.
like it's
you'll
again like
hit
if
'em
you
up.
got 20 people messaging Kyle
Yeah.
being like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I've got this car. How do I get it there?" Man, Kyle, he's got that much going on.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going?
Oh,
sit there
yeah,
and,
he
you
can't.
know,
He can't have the
Like-
time. No.
I feel like he did it. He did it for me.
Yeah.
You know, or not just me. There was a whole bunch of people that he was helping to get there. You know, but yeah, at some point there is a
Yeah.
limit.
You can't help everyone.
Yeah, you know. So anyway, so if I put it all in one big video, then you can watch it as many
Yeah.
times
Oh, yeah.
as you like. You know, and then you can message me or Kyle, and you know what you're talking about. It's just like a little detail. You just need something clarification on.
Where's the video?
Perfect.
What?
Oh, I
Burnouts
haven't put it
on
out yet, but
YouTube?
it'll be Cuddles Burnouts YouTube video. How to import your car into America. Boom.
Yep.
That'll be it.
Like
So,
and subscribe.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you're still watching, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We probably rambled on a little bit,
We're
but
rambling.
hopefully you got out of it what you wanted. And yeah,
Yeah.
we thank you for coming on 24 hours before you fly back to America and do it all again.
Appreciate
yeah.
you all coming out and
I hope-
doing
No, we love you, bro,
Yeah.
and we only hope the best. Hope for the best for you, for sure.
And yeah, we all hope this trip is
Yep.
one
A
that
lot
just
better
lasts
than last
forever
time.
and you get memories
oath.
from it, and yeah, it goes way better. Like I want to go way better than the first one, but also the first one was like you learn a lot from it. So it's
You're
like
right.
it can only
You're
get
right,
better,
It
Craig.
wasn't a
Like,
waste at all. And
It
I,
wasn't
but I
wasted,
think the
yeah.
second trip, if it goes the way I think it's going to go,
Yeah, it's going to be good.
it's going to be what the first trip should have been in my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
I like the way you think. That's
100%.
positive. That's good shit.
Yeah.
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 You've got this.
Yeah. Thank you, boys.
All right,
Like
yeah.
and
Thanks for
subscribe.
coming on, man.
Love yous all.
Kieran Barber.
Cheers.
Octane Apparel, thanks for sponsoring.
Oh,
Yep.
definitely.
Sohem,
Ryan
thanks
Cobb.
for the coffee table.
Absolute legend.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very
Winginit
much.
Motorsport.
Cheers.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
That was crisp.